Hey everybody, do you see me now? Is this working? We've had a lot of technical difficulties and trying to figure it out. And I think, hey everybody, do you see me now? Does that work? Are we cool? Hooray! Okay, that was like a real cluster of mess. So anyways, we tried to get it all set up because we had to get this donate button that you see over here. No, over here. Sorry, I'm doing like the disco. Yeah, it's over there.
Is the image flipped now?
Yeah, it's always flipped. Sorry, Sean's side seat driving. How is everybody today? What is going on? Yeah, you can see me. Sean wants to be in the live stream now. And you don't have to donate money.
Hang up.
What are you doing?
I was just trying to give you more.
No, I want to see this. Okay, anyways, so if you don't have to donate money, you don't have to have a lot of money. Things that you can do if you can't afford to donate is share the content, let people know. Because I think the thing, I think the thing about like any kind of charity or giving is that we can always just give our time. We don't know. I used to volunteer a lot, especially when I was super broke, which is like a lot of my life. I would just donate my time. Go, whatever I want to do, whatever cause is important to me, you can help out. So I think that even if you're feeling like you can't donate even $1, then maybe you just share the video. Have you guys watched the documentary? Have any of you? Oh, you can't see the donate button. It should be right above the chat. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's like right at the very top. Oh, thank you, Steffi, fantabulous. And hi, Marissa. Hi, Bianca, didactic. How is everybody though? I know it is a really important cause, and so I really think that, oh, hey, Mau Mau. I totally get it. Finland can be expensive, but that's the thing is I think we can still just share the documentary. And so the documentary went live on Soul Pancake's channel, and it is really all about, hi, Isabel, is all about Kailash Satyarthi and essentially his life's work to end child slavery. And I think it's really great. He's really great. He's such a warm and just positive guy, especially for all the like horrible things he's seen. And I think that I didn't realize, I know this makes me sound really ignorant. I knew child slavery was a thing back in the day when they talked about it, when it came to like Nike tennis shoes and everything like that. I don't know if any of you remember that. And so anyways, then I thought it went away. Like they talked about it, it happened. I thought it wasn't an issue anymore. And then when I heard about this cause, when YouTube reached out to see if I'd want to help them raise money, I was like, what? Of course, this is still an issue. And so then watching the documentary, I was just blown away by all the work he's doing and the fact that there's still 100 million children that they estimate are involved in child slavery. And so I think that that's something that we can really work to end. And also, if you can't donate now to the Kailash Foundation, something that you can do is not spend the money you have at companies that don't ethically create their products. And when you're watching the documentary, you'll learn that Palm Skincare has children working to put the lids on lotions and stuff. Makes me sick. TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods, Home Sense, all of those companies do, they purchase part of their product, if not the whole product, from child enslaved businesses, I guess, or places that the children make their goods. And so anyway, I think that that's really, donating isn't available in your country now? Does anybody see the donate button, or is it just, because I see it, but, oh, hi, Clockwork. Thanks for coming over.
Only in the United States.
Oh, it's only in the US. I'm sorry, I didn't know. So yeah, of course, Sarah, I didn't realize either. Like, I didn't know that clothing brands had children making their product. I don't know. It's heartbreaking. And I really encourage all of you to watch the documentary, share the documentary. Okay, cool. You guys see it. That's good. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if it is on mobile, Billy. And I guess it might be only in the, it's only in the US, I guess. Okay, we're in the US. People see it in the US. So anyways, hopefully we can still, we can raise some money for a very good cause. And I will put, just so you guys all know, I don't know if you've seen the donate button on my other 2 videos from Monday and Thursday when I interviewed Kailash himself and Derek, the director of the documentary. The donate button should be on those videos, and I will be putting that on all of my videos here till the end of the year. So if you don't have money now, you can always do it later. There's no pressure. I would never want anybody to be caused any more stress from this. That's why I said a lot of the things we can do is just share, make people aware. Like when I told my mom about it, she was like, I need to let people know on Facebook. And I was like, yes, you do. And so, so Ariana, that's a really good question. She says, do you know any other companies that don't sell products made by slave children? There are a lot, actually. You might be able to, if you can't, sorry, I'm just seeing everybody struggling to see the donate button. You can go to Kailash Satyarthi's website, the kailashfoundation.org, and you can donate through there as well. If it won't let you do it here, I'm not sure, I'm not sure why. But in order to find out if a company is child slavery free, I encourage all of us to tweet and ask them to show proof. Like, for instance, I just bought a little side table that I showed on Insta stories from West Elm, and it came with this little piece of paper that said, this is I forget the wording they used, but essentially saying that it was an ethically created product. They work for better wages, safer working conditions, and against child slavery. And it just came with it. And so they're essentially trying to prove to us and show that this is what they do. You can go through their sites and they give you links to find and make sure that it really is. So there's that kind of thing, like asking the companies doing it on their own, of their own volition. And there's that app, Good on You. And someone in the last video, on Thursday's video, you can go in the comments, people left some other apps that are good to check to see. But the Good on You tells you if it's like ethically made, like child slavery, but it also tells you like if it's, good for the environment and stuff like that. It tells you a lot of different things. But if any of you know any more options of ways, because I think we need to encourage people to create apps and create ways to know if this is going on, because there's only a few options. Derek talked about it in the last video that went live yesterday. At the very end, he gives some options of how you can know, but I'd encourage us all to, hi, Pokey Pokey, or I don't know if I'm saying that right. Oh, bummer, it won't accept. Okay, crazy. Thanks, Patty. Anyways, I think that we can tweet about it and we can share what we know. So let's say I talked about West Elm and I know that they are ethically sound with at least one product. So I can, tweet out and let you guys know using the hashtag price of free. Because the one thing that I took away from the documentary is that if a deal seems too good to be true, like, wow, how can this be this cheap? Then it probably is. And it was probably made either by child slaves or adult slaves. Because the thing that people don't talk about enough is that if like illegal immigrants are too scared, it's hard for them to get a good job. And even if they're not getting paid anything or very little, they are afraid to speak up or do anything because they don't want them to call the authorities. They don't want to be deported. And so it's really sad and scary, and they're really taking advantage of people. Okay, that's good. Mouse says a lot of chocolate brands are also using child labor. Go for fair trade options. Yeah, chocolate, rugs. Rugs is a really big one, and clothing. And then just little tchotchke things. Like in the documentary, you'll see them making like little jewelry boxes and little, I don't know, I cried throughout the whole documentary because I was like, oh my God, all of that stuff, I don't even need that. It's all stuff I don't need. It's like, what am I doing? So anyways, yeah, slavery in America. And it does happen. Like in the Kailash Foundation, or in the documentary Price of Free, at the very end of it, and I'm not really giving away I'm not spoiling it. They go through all the cities that slavery exists, like child slavery. And the last one is Los Angeles. And I was talking to Derek about it, and I said, I assume it's like downtown LA in the fashion district. And he's like, yeah, and it's illegal immigrants who, they get separated from their family or their parents, and they're forced to work, and they don't have any way to get out. So it's really sad. Hi, Sophia. Oh, Carly, hey. Are there any ways to see if any brands of food use child slavery? That I don't know. I'm going to kind of rely on us as a community to learn together, because what I found from my own research and talking to Kailash and to Derek was that there's that app, and you can also ask brands. So before you buy something, I know food's a little more tricky, but you can go on their website, you can email them, you can tweet to them, and you can ask them. And they should tell you. And if they don't, then probably don't buy from them. And I know that that's like really laborious and it's not the best kind of process, but I think that as we push for it more and more, I think the app Good on You hopefully will do like an update and it'll get better. And the more we share, the more we learn, then the more everybody can know about it. But some good companies, okay? So I did ask Derek, and I think I left this in the video. I did ask Derek, like, are there certain companies that are good? And he said that Johnson & Johnson has worked with them tirelessly to make sure that where they're sourcing their products are ethical. And so they kind of utilize the Kailash Foundation to let them know where they're finding child slaves and to ensure that none of their products come from that. And Johnson & Johnson is huge. So that's huge. So if you look on the back of a rubbing alcohol bottle that you buy for your first aid kit or a lotion, know that Johnson & Johnson works a lot to make sure that their stuff is okay. And none of this is sponsored, by the way. I mean, I think that goes without saying, but you know me, that's just how it is. So Johnson & Johnson has been good. We looked up World Market because when I heard about Home Goods, I was like, oh my God, World Market. World Market is good. I found out about West Elm. There's also like clothing brands like Reformation. And there's one more. Oh, it'll come to me. But anyway, you guys let me know, of things that you see that you know is like child labor free and it says it's, ethically created, and let us know and share and then use the hashtag. Hi, Sophie. Hi, Steffi. So many people. Hey, Blue Jay. It's fun to see your guys' names on this. So anyways, we'll just do our best to learn together, to share together. So Batman, you guys crack me up. So yeah, it is. I think it's a .org. I think it's kailashfoundation.org. I think so. So, okay, we can talk about other things too. So, yeah, shop secondhand. That's what I do. Most of my stuff, you guys have been watching me for any amount of time, you know that I love myself some eBay. Just because someone wore this sweatshirt before doesn't mean I'm not going to love it just as much. And it also costs like way, way less. And when you're on a budget, like I am, that's a really cool thing. Or like you can just, people are selling things for cheaper because they're like 2 seasons old or something. I know people keep track of that. I personally do not. So that's another great way to ensure, that you're buying something that hasn't been newly made. Hopefully, once we know more brands, even buying them secondhand, we just don't want to support the purchase of those items. Okay, and H. Davis says, not purchasing things from companies like Nestle, finding new reliable sources and researching carefully before adding more, etc. Using simpler supply chain products, exactly. You can track easier instead of lotion, makeup, remover, and shaving cream. You just look for an ethical coconut oil for all those jobs. True. Yeah, fair trade, things that say fair trade. Items that we have, you'll notice have fair trade written on them a lot is like coffee and chocolate, and that's because those are 2 things that are often not ethically made, whether it's like enslaved children or enslaved adults. Hi, Raza. Greetings from Russia. Hello. So anyways, thanks, Sabrina. That's so sweet. And so hopefully we can just kind of learn together. And I'd encourage you all to share. You can tweet at me. I'm happy to retweet if you find out like a company is ethically or unethically doing something. Let us know so we can share in the knowledge. And Vitata says, is it normal for a counselor to tell you and your friend you are over dramatic? I mean, not really. That's not how I would ever talk to a patient. Just saying. I think something that I have said to patients, maybe just to give some context, is like sometimes when one of my patients is being they're just having a really, really hard time with what I on the outside view is a very simple problem. I'll say something to them to the effect of, it seems like this issue is important, but your reaction seems a little bit larger than the issue, I guess, warrants. I don't know. I know that this isn't the best way of saying it, but something like that, where I'd say like, it's essentially like saying you're overreacting, but it's not, I'm not saying that, you're overreacting. I'm not judging you. I want to understand why. So then I'll say to them, because usually it's my patients with bipolar disorder or borderline personality disorder struggle to regulate emotions. And so I'll ask like, hey, have you used any of your self-soothing techniques or any of your, have been using your impulse logs or any of your coping skills? And so I'll ask them if they have. And usually the answer is no, and that's why they're feeling so much. And so then we'll go back to like, okay, well, are the ones that we have for you not working? And we'll try to figure out why. the coping skills that we've discussed aren't helpful and what we can do to make it better. Therapy is not a place for judgment. I don't feel that a therapist ever has the right to judge your situation or your reaction, but they can help you see a better way so that we don't feel so terrible or just so intense about a situation that maybe we could better manage with just a little bit of, more love and support, if that makes sense. So yeah, I hope that kind of helps. Okay, let's see. I see you, Nacho. Why would I avoid you? I haven't, you're against slavery of any kind. Me too. I haven't seen a question from you. It's just a lot to keep up with. I'm only one person. I'm doing my best. Thanks, Faith. It is like, I know there is a lot of diversity in the audience, and that's really cool. I think it's really awesome. Okay, let's see. Okay, thank you. Elizabeth said, Katie, the website for the foundation is Satyarthi-US, not Kailash Foundation. Also, Everlane is a brand that is very transparent about their product, where their products are produced. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Elizabeth. So I said it was the KailashFoundation.org. It's not. It's Satyarthi-US. So Satyarthi-US. Thanks for pointing that out, Elizabeth. I completely forgot. And I have the link to that if you're like, hey, I'm doing a live stream and I don't have time to write this down. Oh, thanks. Sean put that in. Oh, thank you, Redneck Comics. Woo, woo, woo. So for those of you who are on live streams, usually I always cowbell it when we get donations. I brought it. I don't know how wild we'll get with it, but it's here. And I also, if we reach our goal, so I know that that's a lot. We have $200,000 that of $200,000 we can raise. If we reach some goals along the way, I think we should set some goals, and I'll do a bunch of giveaways because I have my whole bin of giveaways over here. I rolled it out. Oh, hey, Carly. Oh, thank you. It's super stretchy and comfortable. So I know the cowbell. I thought you guys would like that. So, and Sean is helping me out. If you see like him putting links in and stuff as me, he's been helping me do that all because it's a lot to do all at once. And we do have, I don't know if you guys know, MatPat and Stephanie, they are coming over in about an hour to come hang out with us for just a little bit because they also are raising money for I'm going to probably say this wrong, you guys, but you can correct me in the chat. It's like the Brain Mind Institute or the Mind Brain Institute. I always get it switched, but they are doing a lot of research on PTSD, which I think is really, really powerful, especially when it comes to our vets. And they're utilizing all that research to help with better treatment. So I think it's a really great cause, and obviously one that's very near and dear to my heart. More cowbell. Okay, I know. Sorry, Lisa. See, it'll just be, some people will like the cowbell and some people won't. That's always just how it is. Okay. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you for coming over. Espercanaran. Am I saying that right? Hopefully. I never say these things right. I'm horrible with the names, you guys, and I'm sorry. I do my best. Okay, let's see. I actually do, Rebecca Lynch, I have a video on complex PTSD. It's called PTSD, and you can look for it on my YouTube channel. If you have follow-up questions about it, feel free to leave a comment when a video goes live. For those of you who are new to the channel, when I release a video on Mondays or on Thursdays, I get in the comments almost immediately. Unless I'm traveling, like if you're following me on Instagram, you'll kind of know where I'm at. But if I'm just at home or I have the time, I'm in the comments right away. So if you have a question or like, hey, I'd like you to make this video or that video, I think that that's the best, like that, and I'll do my best to get through them. Do my best to heart the ones that I see and say thank you and comment and answer. So yeah, so that hopefully will, because I know a lot of people are like, what's the best way? That's the best way. Okay. Power hour. Exactly. It is kind of like I do a power hour. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, H. Davis. Well, thank you for popping in. I'm glad you're at least able to say hi and share what you know right away. Okay. Oh, thanks, Jasmine. Of course. I'm just, the thing that's so cool. When people are like, oh my gosh, it's so, you reach so many people. It's because YouTube allows us to. Isn't it crazy that I can talk to you in Russia and you in the Netherlands and you in Indiana and all from the comfort of my own home? It's pretty amazing. Okay. I am not sure, this isn't time to have like a whole discussion about slavery. We can talk about the documentary and Price of Free. And I'm happy to hear your points and everything. But we have to kind of have like a conversation as a community. So let me know, if there's certain things you want me to check out, feel free to leave links. I'm happy to educate myself or anything like that, okay? Oh, hi from Canada. Hey. YouTube is amazing, Marissa. So, and Meg, you pre-ordered my book. Yay. Oh, you guys, some of you saw, hold on. I'm not going very far. Don't worry. I'll be BRB. I'm just walking over here. I got the real copies in the mail the other day. You see my extension cord plug-in for the lights? Super fancy. It's the real book. It's like the real deal. It came in the mail the other day, and it's crazy when something's like tangible, So if you are interested in mental health, if you're looking for like a basic 101 guide, that's my book. Okay, let's see. Oh, Qatar. Hi, Rufida. Am I saying that right? Rufida? Salt and pepper, my love life is great. I am married to a wonderful man. And he is helping me out. His name is Sean. I love him very much. Okay, let's see. Lightly. You guys crack me up. Okay, let's see. Is it true that psychiatrists usually have mental health problems? I want to work in psychiatry. Oh, and Ariana, that's a good question. I'll answer that next. So the psychiatrist, I find that a lot of people in the mental health realm are interested because they personally had their own issues, whether it's their own personal issues or someone close to them that they love. And so I don't think that's a problem. Like I've talked about a lot, just because you've had a mental health issue doesn't mean that you won't be suited, like that you aren't suited to be a mental health professional. With the caveat that we do have to take care of our own stuff first. You guys know me. I've been in and out of therapy since I was like, 15 years old. And I need to start going back more frequently now, just because I feel like I do. That's all. So I think that we all need to take care of ourselves, but it's more important than other jobs for us mental health professionals to take care of ourselves. So no, not all psychiatrists have mental health problems. Some of them may have had them or currently still managing them, but that doesn't make them not suited for the job. So if you want to be a mental health professional, you go for it. Yeah, Sean, he did arrange the plants. I was like, I feel like I'm on a TV set. Okay, let's see. Ash, I do have some videos on alcohol abuse. I'm not sure. You guys will have to let me know. It's been a while since I've done a video about that. So in Monday's video in the comments when it goes live, you guys let me know if there are certain topics about alcohol abuse or you can tweet to me too. That works too. But if there are certain topics around that, like drug and alcohol use and abuse, I'm happy to touch on it more because I feel like it's been a while since I've done anything like that. Okay, let's see. Oh, and someone said, yeah, the donations for some reason I think are only in the States. This is a grande ice soy latte. Can't help myself. So tasty. I needed the energy for the 3-hour live stream. I was actually really excited to hang out with you guys. I just was so annoyed with getting the donate button to work, and then I actually tried to turn the live stream live, and then it was like it's private, and I'm like, And then I wanted to get my friend Rosanna. Oh, hey, Creator Fundamentals. Oh, thank you so much. We gotta hit the cowbell, you guys. He said, just want to say hello, Katie, and support your cause. YouTube allows many of us to deliver the value we have to offer all over the world, and I'm sure you help a lot of people. Thanks, Dan. Are we ready? Woo-hoo-hoo. Thank you, Cowbell Carnage. I know, where's my t-shirt? I should have put that t-shirt on today. Oh, thanks, Sarah. I'm so glad. It was funny. If you guys didn't watch Matt and Steph's stream, it's up now. It was like 8 hours long. I'm towards the end at like 5:30 to 6:30 that night I came on. And we had to do, oh, hey, Life Noggin. I know it is the cowbell. Anyways, it is like SNL. Sorry, I'm getting super, super distracted. What was I saying? Oh, on MatPat and Steph's live stream, it was like, try not to laugh. I suck at that. Also learned, really love fart jokes. Can't help myself. What are you going to do? So anyways, yeah, that's okay. Oh, and someone had asked earlier, I think it was Ash, asked, how did I first hear about Kailash? That was honestly through YouTube, because when MatPat and Steph asked if I'd be part of their live stream, I was like, of course, it's mental health. That's awesome. Yeah. How long do you need me on? What can I do? And so they put me in touch with their person at YouTube that was helping, I guess, put together the live stream. And she told me about the Kailash Foundation. She's like, would you be interested in being a part of Giving Week? They call it Giving Week at YouTube. And that was the whole week after Thanksgiving. Like, this will be the end of Giving Week. And I was like, of course. And there was the Kailash Foundation and Doctors Without Borders is another one that they're sponsoring too. Anyways, and so when I heard about the Kailash Foundation, I was like, I love Doctors Without Borders, but reach out to a physician. I'm not a medical doctor. And I was like, but this has to be talked about. So yeah, okay, let's see. So that's how I heard about it. And then once I went to the screening, there was a screening in LA. Now I can post the photos from it. I couldn't post them before. You saw the photo I posted with Kailash. It was like a few weeks ago. Oh, hey, Tracy Lord. Thank you. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, she's a therapist in training and getting your master's degree in social work. That's so cool. Yay. Thank you. Okay, so I know the cowbell. It's such a good cowbell. Raymond sent me this, and it's a beautiful thing, and I love it very much. It's a real cowbell. And then this, I think this is like, it's called something, looks like a mini bat, but it was for the cowbell. So we're real legit over here at Kati Morton Studios. Okay, James says, oh, you're not intruding. No one can ever intrude here. Says, I kind of feel like I'm intruding, but do you have any help for someone with a friend who has anxiety? I think in all honesty, when we, is that bothering you? Sean's fixing the lights.
No, it's not bothering me.
I think if we have a friend who has anxiety, the best thing we can do, and this goes for anything, depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, you name it. I think the best thing we can do is just be there for them. And I mean that to say, like, we can't force anybody to want to get help. We can't make anybody see that they need to take medicine, they need to go to therapy. We can't fix any of that. You know, we can't force it. They have to want it themselves. What we can do is we can be supportive. We can check in with them, and we can offer help when needed. Like, hey, I know you don't have a car. I'm happy to drive you to your appointment. Or, hey, I understand that, it's really hard and blah, blah, blah. I'm here for you if you want to talk about it. We can just be there to support. And that's honestly like the best thing we can do. Okay, so I hope that kind of helps. Oh, swamp juice. No swamp juice today. I actually, because Sean and I were gone this week at an event, I wanted to live stream from there because I had other friends that were YouTubers. I wanted to get them involved, but it was just really complicated. So we ended up not doing it there. I have no groceries, so I had to go to Starbucks and get a little breakfast sandwich this morning. Oh, cool. Yay, Bearded Jay. I'm so glad that book was helpful. Yay. Okay. Of course, James, happy to help. Okay, let's see. Any advice for someone with an eating disorder? My parents insist I'm only not eating because I'm stubborn. A lot of people don't understand eating disorders in general. They think that it has to do with vanity, or they're like, just eat already. But telling someone that they just need to eat already is the equivalent of telling someone with a broken leg, like, just get up and run already. This just doesn't work. That's not what it's about. That's not going to fix it. So I think, I don't know, I have a bunch of videos about eating disorders, like a ton. That's actually my specialty. So when I started the channel, that's like all I did. And so I'd encourage you to maybe pick a few that you find are really helpful, that you think they can hear, and maybe share those and see if that helps, okay? Because I know it can be hard. The tall plant, Felicia, she's over there. She's actually doing much better now that we're talking about the plants in her house. This is a fake plant. This is a real plant, and the other one's real over there too. She's a fiddly fig, and her name is Felicia. She's been very fickle and very difficult to water properly and make sure she doesn't lose her leaves. But now she's much happier since Sean and his sister put new dirt in it. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I'm yawning. It's because I'm talking too much. Oh, hey, Allie. Let's see. Okay. Thanks for the donation. Okay. Rufida says, okay, sometimes I experience anxiety in the form of flashbacks where I feel like I'm going through the experience that triggered the anxiety. Any advice on how to deal with this? I think that's very common. I think when we know that it's essentially like a flashback. Well, it might be more of like I guess it could be a flashback, but I have a lot of patients who will have flashbacks and lead to panic attacks because it feels like we're back in that situation. And oftentimes when we're in those scary situations, we go into like fight or flight or freeze. And depending on any of those, whether we fight, flight, or freeze, that can send us into a panic attack. And that is really, really common. I think the best way we can deal with it is better understand our triggers and better understand how to calm our system down. And I have a whole anxiety workbook. You can download it on my website, or you can purchase it through the iBook store and iTunes. So it's like in a nice format. And so, okay, yay, Stephanie and Matt are here. And so, sorry, I'm going to text them real quick. I'm right inside. Okay, so just want to let them know I'm like right inside the door. Okay, cool. Anyways, so I think the best way to find a way to calm your system down is learning whether like breathing techniques or any other relaxation techniques help you the most, and doing those more, like as you feel it building up. We have to kind of get more mindful of our system, and as we feel it building or feel our anxiety peaking where we might be going into one of those flashbacks, we have to learn how to calm our system back down. Also, recognizing the triggers and trying to avoid them. I hope that helps. I have a lot of videos on anxiety. I would encourage you to check the ones about like, I think I have like 5 minutes about panic attacks or anxiety attacks. I have one about like, I think there's like 5 tips on ways to manage anxiety. There's all of that stuff. So, okay, Sarah Game says, tip for your plants. Any leaves that fall off or are trimmed off, leave on the top of the soil. Very, very slowly over time, they'll break down and feed the soil. Oh, I had no idea. Cool. Okay. Let's see. Oh, any advice for bisexual people who live in the Middle East? It can be really tricky. And the one thing I'll always say, first of all, I have a whole LGBTQ plus workbook that's available that kind of helps figure out like coming out if you want to come out. And the thing that I really want to just express is that if it's unsafe for you to come out or to show affection to your partner in public, I know that it sucks that that's how society is, but I think it's really, really important that we keep ourselves safe. Sean, will you get the door? And so I think safety first is really important, and then finding community either online or in other groups that can help give you support and help you be heard and understood. And so they're here. Our apartment's really small, so this is the biggest space for us. So yeah, I think that that's kind of my thought on that, because I know that it's really hard for a lot of people, and I think that if it's not safe, we don't want to do that, because that could cause us more mental health anguish and also make our relationships, it's dangerous for us. So anyways, those are my thoughts, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the chat too. Life Noggin says, Sean the door getter. I know, and people can be so close-minded. And so I think that, it's TK, it's the real doorbell this time. It sucks that people, hi Gary. It sucks that people are that way, and I know that we wish everybody was really understanding and loving and supportive, but unfortunately we can't control everybody, and we just do the best we can, So yeah, we need more cowbell. We need more donations. That's where the cowbell comes from. Okay. So Loopy Lucy says, any advice for stopping purging? It's a new thing for me, and I'm already finding it addictive, and I know I just need to break the habit, but I can't bring it to my tea. I think it's usually like a cycle we get caught in. I have a video I would recommend you watch called Getting Out of the Binge Purge Cycle, because I think a lot of times in life, if we restrict, it's the whole thought, like if we tell ourselves that we don't. Hey. We're just doing the best we can. Anyway, I think sorry, Sean's getting nice. So if we tell ourselves we can't have one thing, that's like all we think about. Anybody else feel that way sometimes? It's like, I'm not going to eat French fries. I'm not going to eat French fries. All I want is French fries. And I think that we do that when it comes to like the binge purge cycle, where we like stop and we won't have something at all. And we're like, no. And then that's all we want. And so then we restrict, and then binge and purge, and we get like caught into it. And so I have a video about that, how to stop the binge purge cycle. Check it out. I think it'll be helpful. Okay. Oh, how can you tell if the product or the container is made in China? Usually it says. I mean, like usually there's like a sticker on something, when you're like, I don't even know. I wish I had a better like object. But like for instance, my aunt made Sean and I these coasters personally for our wedding. Thanks, Teresa. But on the back, it would have like a sticker, and it would be like made in India, made in China. And Kailash at the screening did say that China, it was like China, Morocco, India, Malaysia were like places you should avoid buying items from. And Amazon is actually one of the places that is the hardest to figure out where things come from. And I was looking at it yesterday, and I believe there is a way, you guys will have to let me know, I know you're all around the world, but like there is a way to say, I only want to purchase items from these areas. And so if you wipe out China as a whole, or, you know, India as a whole, then, you know, that's kind of the best, like, again, going back to our original discussion, I think that's the best way to make changes, to not spend our money in areas where we know that the regulations aren't strong enough and we know that child slavery is still happening. Because that's the cool thing about the Kailash Foundation, is that their whole goal is to raise enough awareness for this issue so that they can take this to, you know, different members of parliament and different, you know, the UN and pretty much all of the governing boards within the world to push for stricter guidelines. And so that's really the goal, is like stricter laws and guidelines and rules that people have to follow, or their items can't be, you know, distributed in the way that they want them to be. And so there's that. And then they're also obviously needing funding to go and save children. Like in the documentary, you'll see they go into different work environments and rescue kids. And that's when I was like, whoa, it's really great what they're doing. And so they obviously need funding for that as well. It's really cool. If you haven't watched it, please watch it. It's on Soul Pancake's channel. It's so good. Has anybody watched it? Let me know. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Sean is super fancy, always. Totally agree. You guys come in just a few minutes. You guys want to see them? You know they're here. You can hear them. I know. People were chatting. They're like, I never thought I'd see them over there. Okay. Oh, Sadie girl. Yes, it came. The real deal. In person. It's here. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I know pineapple pizza is a real thing now. We don't have to call it code name anymore. It's a book. Everybody knows. The secret is out. Okay. Let's see. Any advice for people? Oh, thanks, Dalton. I hope you love it. I think you'll really, really like it. Hopefully it's really helpful. Oh, that's weird, Sippy. I'm not sure why you didn't see it. But I can ring the cowbell anyways. Thanks for your donation. Woo, 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 woo. I do cowbells on my live streams.
Awesome.
We can do clap and a halves too. We can do all other things. Okay.
It's more cowbell.
More. That's what they said. They're like, more cowbell. Okay. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. Catherine says, hey, Katie, is skin crawling or feeling like there's something crawling on you something common for people who have panic attacks, and is scratching a form of self-harm? Okay. First question. Skin crawling can be two things. It can be part of anxiety, where your senses are just really heightened and it's really uncomfortable to be in your body. A lot of people can feel that. Sensory processing disorder can cause that. Ooh, thanks, Cynthia Martinez. Ooh, thank you. Oh, yay, you also got the book. So exciting. Okay, so then I like how Sean's in there, so it looks like I'm talking to myself in the comments. It's very fun. But back to the question. Also, you can have, and everybody's situation is different. I just want to give you all the reasons you can have that kind of itching sensation. Also see your doctor, because you just never know. It's not always a mental health issue. It can be a physical health issue. But the final one I want to mention is something people don't talk about a lot, is when we have any kind of psychosis. If you wonder what psychosis is, you can watch my video on it. It's when we essentially hear and see things or feel things that aren't there. And one form of psychosis can feel like, I had a patient years ago at the hospital that would feel like ants were under her skin, which I know you're like, ugh. But imagine that's how it felt for her. It was really uncomfortable. And that told her that her medication wasn't working, or she needed to see her doctor again and get checked up, you know? So those are kind of the reasons. So sensory processing disorder, anxiety can cause it, and parts of psychosis. So that's kind of, those are the reasons that can happen. Oh, bye, Michelle. Thanks for coming in and hanging out for a little bit. Oh no, it's the Price of Free. That is the name of the documentary, The Price of Free. Here, I'll put it in there. I think it's actually just Price of Free. And you can see it on Soul Pancake's channel. Okay? Okay, one more question, and then we're gonna invite our guests in. Are you ready? Any tips for someone aspiring to be a musical therapist? Take care of yourself first. Make sure that you are able to put in healthy boundaries. I think anybody working in any caretaking role, whether it's a teacher, a therapist, even as a YouTuber, there's a lot of things where we give a lot of energy out to other people. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're taking time for your own mental health. And then honestly, go for it. Do it. That's going to be really cool. Find a program that fits what you want to do. I think that's really cool. You guys want to come on in.
Oh no, are you ready for it?
I think we're ready.
Are you? Okay, let's do it.
Okay. Yay. So here are our first guests. I've never had guests on the live stream.
Really?
No.
We're your first ones?
First
Oh my gosh,
ever.
that's so
really
exciting.
exciting. That's a big deal.
We're honored.
And I'm honored to fulfill that role.
Yay. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
So for those of them that don't know you, so we talked about this on their live stream that
It's just one big network of live streams right now.
Yeah.
It is.
We have this fated relationship with Katie and Sean, where no matter what happens, I think we were probably destined to come together at some point because
Our lives were intertwined.
Yes.
We met them on an adventure in Europe.
We did.
No, we met them at VidCon Europe when they were sitting behind us in a restaurant, and we were the only people in the restaurant speaking English, and it was like 8 a.m. and we were all eating eggs, and they were like, "Are you here for VidCon?" And we were like, "Yes, we're here for VidCon. You must also be here for VidCon." And then we kept running into them over and over and over again at like tons of
Everywhere.
events subsequently. Yeah.
Yes.
Like you are Google/YouTube's golden child.
Oh my gosh,
Katie.
you're like
I feel
everyone's
like
favorite.
you guys are golden child.
Oh no, we just force our way into everywhere. We just like sneak in everywhere.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm officially invited here, and we're like, we clawed our way into the background by like begging people to let us in. You're the golden child though. You're like, look at me. You're like, oh my gosh, Katie's here.
I'm like, I don't even know what this event is. We're like, where are
Yeah, we ended up at this event in Arizona earlier this year, and we literally had this conversation where we met at this cocktail hour. We were like, "Do you know what this event is?" No.
But Google invited us, so we should
So we were
probably
there.
go. Yeah.
So we travel around the world together.
Yes.
Oh,
In
it's nice.
pairs,
Yeah.
you know?
Together but not together.
Yeah, we meet at the baggage plane, or like I'm on the plane. I'm like, that's them over there.
Yeah.
What's the matter here too?
Right.
Oh, good.
Or at
In
the
the
random
van,
breakfast place.
Exactly.
Omelet. Yeah, the omelet.
It was my favorite.
It was really good.
Those of you in Amsterdam, you got it.
Yeah.
Amelie is
It's
where it's
so
at.
good.
I noticed that you missed this year's VidCon Europe.
I did. I didn't get invited. See, no golden child.
There was no.
Well, that's
there,
not.
it's okay.
That's not. I said you're Google/YouTube's
Oh,
golden
yeah.
child, not necessarily VidCon.
Not
child.
VidCon.
Although you are kind of a VidCon golden child. So,
Oh yeah.
but
She does it all.
no, we were. Well, that was because this year's VidCon Europe was a little bit different because it was much more business focused than it was.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wasn't a lot
it
of
felt
fans.
very different.
That's what I figured, and my fans were kind of disappointed because they're like, "We loved it last time."
Ours too. But yeah, they're doing more stuff for VidCon this year. Are you going to VidCon this year in
No,
the
in
US?
London. Oh, in the US, yes.
Yeah, us too.
We'll
be
see you
there.
in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yay.
VidCon X.
Yes.
VidCon.
Yes, it's the 10th.
It is,
It's
it's
the 10th year.
That's how you know it's a big deal when it's got an X at the end.
Yeah.
That's serious.
Wow. How long have you guys been on YouTube?
7 years.
7.5
Okay,
years.
I was like,
at this
yeah.
point, yeah.
Okay, about the same as me then, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Because I was like, have you been on 10 years? You know, people are
No, we're not. We're not the
yeah.
10-year
Gina,
club.
I
I know,
like
me
the
neither.
Joey Graceffa Club, or
Yep.
Shane, I think, has been
Yes.
on for 10, and
Uh,
I Justine, a few other people we
Yeah.
know pretty well. But
Smosh.
yeah,
Yes,
oh, Smosh for
Smosh.
sure. Hopefully they're back.
Right.
I know.
Hopefully they're still on to an extent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
But no, we haven't hit the 10-year mark.
yeah, me neither. But I was like, I knew you guys had been there a long time, but I didn't think
Back
you
in the day.
I know.
Working
Now
on our
we're
berries.
OG.
Yeah. But when we first started doing videos, they weren't even on YouTube. They were on like small independent video game oriented websites, because that's where everything started for us.
And Blip TV. Guys,
Blip
this is-
TV.
Yeah, that's right.
TV.
The one
Yes.
place that challenged YouTube for supremacy,
Yeah.
because it was the only place that actually, like, you could put your videos on YouTube or you could put your videos on Blip TV, and that's where they like really first started getting monetized. It was like, and the
I
monetization
didn't
was
realize
supposed to be better
monetization
there.
was on Blip.
It was on Blip TV, and so like I would make maybe like $1 on YouTube, and I would make like $20 on Blip TV. And it was like,
Wow.
whoa!
Yeah, rolling in the dough.
Yeah.
I was the breadwinner at that point. Let's just put it that way.
You had a real job.
I was very actively looking for work, Stephanie, okay? It's not my fault that Dead Lobster and Olive Garden didn't want me. It was bad,
all
Katie.
worked out. It
No
all
one
worked
wanted
out.
me. I applied
You found your
everywhere.
people.
Yeah,
I did.
exactly. It
At the
all
end of
works
the
out in
day,
the end. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I think
Corporate America's not for everybody.
I think I would have made a very personable waiter.
I
I
think
think so too.
Right, thank you.
You're very
Dirt in
typical.
restaurants apparently did not want me. I learned that Dirt in Restaurants owns all those like family chains. Yeah, Dirt and the Olive Gardens and Red Lobster.
This
Oh,
was
the
at
world
the
is-
deepest part of the recession when Matthew was trying to get a job. That's actually what started us on YouTube. Was he was looking for a resume builder for in the job market that didn't exist at all and was really difficult. I had a job, which was great, but it was so difficult, just no matter what field you were in, it seemed like, to get work. And so while he was doing all these applications and like hustling and stuff, he was doing videos in the background, and
That's so funny.
that's where it all
Google
started.
totally ghosted me though.
How dare
They ghosted me.
You
Where
reached out and then they were
oh
like,
no, they said like I got through like multiple rounds of
oh,
interviews
you
with
did all
Google.
that?
Yeah, I did. They gave me the Google
Yeah.
question, like back in the day, how they used to ask people, like, here's this out of the box, like critical thinking question. I got mine, which was they stacked quarters to the height of the Empire State Building, could you fit that stack of quarters in a normal sized room? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, the answer is
Because
yes.
it's so small, like
Right?
it's volume.
Yeah, you're talking
Yeah.
volume as opposed to just like
That's right.
linearity. Yep. But I got through all those questions. They're like, we love you for the job. Like, there's only one more, like, and it's kind of just a formal process at this point. They were like, you practically have the job. It's a formalized process. We're gonna
So,
fly
like,
you out.
gaslit you.
They did.
Yeah,
And then they
Right.
never got back to me ever again. And I'm like, hey, what happened to that whole thing about
Yeah,
you flying me out? I went out and
remember
bought a suit and everything because I'm like, ooh, I had no money, but I spent everything
Oh yeah.
to buy the suit. The
Yeah.
suit that I still wear to practically every event that we go
You
to at
still
this
have
point.
it.
I've got my use out of it.
We call it the Google suit
It's the
too,
Google
because it was
suit.
like the first nice suit he ever bought,
Mhm.
and it was at the time it was like this unbelievable, like, are we going to pay rent or are we going to buy this suit?
It's like, if it gets me a job,
Yeah,
let's
and
go
if it gets
for
a
it.
job,
You're
let's-
gonna
yeah,
no risk, no reward.
yeah, exactly.
And
We were not
we risked-
evicted. It was fine, but
we risked,
still.
and there was no reward. Nor was there an email, nor was there any response from Google
But
at that
He
point.
did get a really nice suit out of the whole
He
thing,
did.
and so now years later, he wears like the same suit to the Streamy Awards every year.
Right. That's Sean's always like, I don't know, we're gonna have to find something. Like, we don't wear suits.
Right?
We're
I know.
YouTubers, we wear pajamas.
Exactly.
And then like all the cool clothes that you're kind of expected to wear at
I
events
know.
like that.
I'm
It's,
just not cool.
No.
right? I'm not,
I've given
I'm
them
not
up a
cool.
long time ago.
It's simultaneely I'm not cool, and also I'm not willing to spend
Yeah,
egregious
gazillions
amounts of
of
money on like a ripped shirt just
I
to
know.
like, oh, look at how I
Like $500 on tennis shoes that already look worn out.
Right? It's like, why would I do this? That's so
But then I'm
silly.
like, I am my mother. It's come full circle.
Oh no!
Does anybody else remember like when ripped jeans became a thing? And
Oh,
then I had talked to my mom was like, I am not spending hard-earned money on something that's already
It's already
worn
ripped,
out.
right? You can just
Exactly.
rip it yourself.
My
Yeah.
parents had the same. My parents had the same motto. They were like, "Why would you get this if it's worn out? Don't get something that's like distressed. Why would you want to beat up your clothes? That's what wearing them is for."
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I never got it.
So,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
okay.
It's okay to not be cool. I think that's the message.
That is.
So Matthew and
Long
I,
story short.
yeah. So Matthew and I, on the way here, we were speculating that the reason you invited us on the live stream was because you think we need therapy. So,
Yes.
so you can be honest. You can
And Red
tell
and Link
us it's
told us
okay.
earlier in our live
They were
stream
like-
that we needed preemptive.
No,
therapy.
they were just like if
Are
you're
they
with
in therapy
someone.
with their wives?
No. I think it's
Or red and white?
I think it's
They
for.
might be.
Couple, work couple.
That's the thing. They were like, if you work with someone for a really long time, they were like, the key is preemptive therapy, and we were like, whoa, guys. No,
That's funny.
they're awesome, and they were. And did you see them? Did you guys overlap?
No.
No,
Okay,
they were
so
pretty far
They were
apart.
early.
Yeah, they were like let's say like 11 or no, like 1 or something. I was
Yeah,
like,
they were early, and you were later on in the stream. But yeah, they were just like yeah, make sure you get in there for that preemptive therapy.
how is it working? Because I mean, Sean and I work together, so
Yeah.
I was curious actually how you guys manage working together, like the ups and downs of it.
It's awful, terrible, at each other's throats all the time, nonstop. Yeah.
I
No, actually, it's really easy.
It's actually really great. I feel like we're really lucky. I feel free to share your thoughts and stuff, but actually it was one of those things where I was worried about it, and more worried about it ultimately than I needed to be. And it's not that there isn't like a period of adjustment, or like you do have to really make sure that you like over communicate, I think, but it's been really nice for us. Like I can't, in some ways, like I have a hard time imagining not working together.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like as a couple, we've gone through a lot of different phases in our relationship. So we started dating in college. Actually, before that, she thought I was gay, so she wasn't even interested in me. And then we started dating in college after I convinced her I was not.
You're like, I just enjoy musical theater.
Right? There's nothing wrong
All he would do
with an
is
appreciation of a musical theater.
forgive me. All he would do is come up to me and be like, "Come see my latest musical theater show."
Enthusiasm.
Hey.
Enthusiasm for the art that he's working on.
And talk about how great his jazz hands were, and then he was in all these dance classes.
And just because I walked around the campus wearing tights and doing splits,
you could see why there were mixed signals here.
So
could be confused. You don't want to like try for something, because I did
Well,
in
exactly.
college. Asked this one guy Jeff. I was like, hey, I have this like date event with my club thing that I'm part of. You want to come with me? And he's like, just so you know, I'm gay. And I was like,
wow.
Thanks for letting me know. Didn't know.
I mean, I would appreciate
you are in
that.
fire with me, but I wasn't jumping to conclusions.
Right. You don't want to assume one way or the other, but in his case, there was just so much musical theater. And
Oh, Life Not gave us $10.
Woo!
Oh, let's ring the cowbell.
Go for it.
Oh my
Are you
gosh.
excited?
Or is it more of a
It's kind of whatever you want.
Really?
It's freestyle.
no way. There's no hard and fast rules. This
No.
makes me uncomfortable.
You just have to like tell them you're gonna ring it, so people have earbuds and
Oh.
they can pull them out.
I've already broken
We
the
did it.
only rule that
I gave it
existed.
to you. I told them the cowbell. They were prepared.
There we go.
And then see, Life Not yay, yay, yay.
Wait,
Woo-hoo.
there was
For what?
there was a question with it, wasn't there? I saw there was a question. Hold on. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Here we go. What are some things that you do to calm yourself down when you're stressed with work?
And cowbell, please.
And we got
Okay.
so we got half of
We
that
got the
done.
cowbell. We got the cowbell.
To calm yourself down when you're stressed. Oh my gosh, that's a tough one.
We watch
Because
a
we're
lot of
stressed
great-
Don't
all the
fear
time.
the Reaper. Sorry, the Saturday Night Live.
Right, yes, I know. That's why I was.
The more cowbell.
I'm glad
Yeah.
that you guys
We're all
understood
on
that
the
and
same
appreciate it. Good. Okay.
That's awesome. We watched a lot of the Great British Baking Show.
Oh, everybody loves that.
It's
really good.
Great.
I personally watch Law and Order, which I know seems like the opposite of relaxing.
No,
that's
whatever
pretty-
you
But
do.
they're always going to solve the crime.
It's true.
It's
You're
true.
right.
They
You're
always do
right.
solve the crime. There is always a satisfying conclusion.
Yes.
And we like the Great British Baking Show because it's a competition reality show, but it's not a competition. It's just like really cute British people who like to bake. There's
Okay.
not even a prize. You
Oh.
can't. You don't even win money. They at the end,
Why
all
do
you
people
get.
sign up to be on TV?
No.
No, just because they love
for
baking.
literally
joy
for the joy of
At
baking.
this
Altruism does exist.
Yes. Well,
Well,
at this point, people understand like, oh, it can like do good things for a career
Of
in
course,
baking or
yeah.
whatever. But
it's
like,
exposure.
yeah, but especially like the first 4 or 5 seasons were all purely just because like I like baking. I want to bake with other people.
And the
This
challenges
is-
share the spread. The
yeah,
love.
it was.
It's
I want to
true.
show off my treacle toss.
It really was. And they let, unlike all of the other like reality competition shows where everyone is locked down, they just do it on weekends. Like in between,
Oh.
they go home, they practice the next week's recipes.
They bring in their bee honey.
Yeah, exactly. There have been like several of these contestants who are beekeepers in their spare time. They're just like, I have a beehive out in my back garden and I brought some honey from the hive.
So that
I'm
way it'll
going to-
spice up my ginger snaps. I'm like, oh, okay, great.
I love this
That
very
is-
much. I'm gonna have to check
It's
it out.
Literally, that's
delightful.
one of the things we do to relax. We're 85, basically.
Mhm.
So we'll have like our
Same.
5 o'clock p.m. dinner, and we'll do a jigsaw puzzle. I'm not kidding. Like we have.
We used to do our 5 o'clock
Now it's
then we
dinner,
have the
but now
baby.
I say the baby.
Yeah.
the baby and also the live stream. The live stream
Yeah.
was the first baby,
Yeah.
and so the live stream took up the time between 4 and
I feel
5:30.
like channels are babies.
Oh
isn't it?
yeah.
Oh, we have so many babies.
Yeah,
at this
you have
point.
a lot of babies.
We have a cat. We have business.
Oh, yeah,
we have,
cats, you have
so many
another
babies. Just
Yeah.
babies out the wazoo.
Yeah.
So many babies.
busy.
But I think to the question about like how do you relax or calm down, I think one of the other things too is understanding your working style. Because
Totally.
And not
one of-
being ashamed or embarrassed about whatever it is.
yeah, and this goes back to your earlier question about what it's like to work together, because when we first started working together, like, we're both highly motivated people, and we're both very competitive people, and we're both motivated. And so we have this thing where, like, we don't want the other person to feel like they're working harder than us, right?
Yeah.
And so, and when you're both working all the time, you're just like, I'm working hard. No, I'm working hard. No, I'm gonna work harder than them. And it becomes this, like, very vicious cycle.
We had this,
And
So boundaries around like when you're gonna work and not work, because you both will push yourselves essentially.
or just being comfortable with your own work style. So when we first started working together, we went for at least 3.5 or 4 months where we worked every day, all day, from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., no weekends, nothing. And we came out to the other side and we were like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Like, we literally had this realization of like, what happened to the last several months? And it was exactly what he was talking about, where we didn't want it's so hard. You don't want the other person to feel like they're working alone, or like that you're not pulling your weight. And so we had just this like Matthew said, it was like this vicious cycle, and we had to stop it and realize that his work style is different from my work style. They're both valid. They're both productive.
Yeah.
But we just have to be okay that sometimes one of us may be working and the other one might not be.
Yeah, I call mine banging my head against a wall, where, like,
It's really healthy. I'm glad
it's great.
Yeah.
But it's one of those ones where, like, I have to just sit down and, like, grind through whatever I'm working on, and I can't move on until I've, like, really worked my way through it. Like,
Gotcha.
like,
so like to completion, you're like, okay, figure this out. I'm gonna figure it out.
yeah.
Even if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, I'm gonna, like, lock myself down, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get through the task at hand, and just, you know, grind through it, bash my head against the wall until the wall finally breaks, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Stephanie works at it from a very fundamentally different standpoint, which is when she's feeling, you know,
Stuck,
fatigue or stuck or whatever, she needs to just stop.
I have to stop and take a break.
Yeah, and take a
You
break
stop
and do
Clear my
something.
head.
Yeah, you come back with fresh eyes, and all of a sudden you see stuff that you couldn't see before. Matthew hates that. He just walks away and feels like a stress ball.
Oh, like you failed or something.
Yeah.
Either that I failed, or that I'm wasting time now, or, like, it's hanging over
So
my
it doesn't
head that I
clear
have to
your
do.
head.
It doesn't clear my head because it's still weighing on my shoulders. And so, but then Steph, if she would try to work the way that I worked, she would feel guilty that she's taking break, or that she wouldn't be productive.
Yeah.
But then if she took breaks, she would feel bad because she's like, I'm not working the way that Matthew's working.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And,
Well,
and
Sean
so
and
that
I-
communication was the big
Yeah.
thing that really helped kind of like, hey, it's okay to work differently and work for what's best for you.
Yeah, because I think, and that's something that Sean and I struggle with. Well, not struggle, but learn.
Mhm.
I guess that's, you learn about
Right.
each other,
Yeah.
right? And so he's definitely more creative minded than I am. I'm like, what needs to happen to make this
Mhm.
exist?
Uh-huh.
A to B to C.
Right.
It's like, I'm like, that's why school was my thing. I feel like I could ace any class by
Yeah.
the time I finished graduate school. I'm like, I could figure it out.
Yeah.
Tell me what the syllabus is, I will learn it. And he's like, let's consider this other view. Like, so different.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so he, like, creatively will spend more time in a project. He's like, oh, I just think it could be better this way or whatever. And I'm just like, I just need a break. I have to go for a walk.
Yeah.
Or I need to call my mom. Or I need to go to yoga.
Sure, right.
I need
Yeah.
to do something. And I'm like, because that is how I'll work better when I get back.
Exactly.
Because I'm burnt now and I can't see what you're saying. I don't want to fight with you.
Yeah,
Well, and
exactly.
I think that's kind of indicative of one of the things that, I don't know, like, is a learning process in any relationship or any couple, is you only ever get exposed to the way that your brain works and the way
Yeah.
that you think and perceive the world. And there's this assumption that all brains work the same and that all people see the world in the same way. Even for us who've been together for over a decade at this point, you know, like, there's still times when we learn new things about, like, the way that they see the world or what they find funny or interesting or things like that. And I think knowing to ask those questions and have those conversations is a very big learning process unto itself, because it's like, hey, I didn't even think that this is a question that I should be asking.
Yeah. It totally, because communication is tricky, and I think that that's kind of why, like, school doesn't work for everybody, traditional
Yeah.
education, because everybody learns differently
Yeah.
and processes things differently. We can't just be like told, even though I understand for like the fact that there's so many children and there's one teacher for like 30 of us or whatever, they can't be like, okay, well, you can do it this way and you can do it that way. But I do think that as we get older, we recognize what our strengths and weaknesses are to like to play to the strengths and make it work.
Right.
And then work as a team. Okay, so your strength is this and your strength is this. How can we make that beneficial?
Right.
Exactly.
A good comparison is like when I first started video editing, I didn't know much about like the only thing I'd ever done is like drop a bunch of like videos together into one, and it's like there's my theater video. And so when I first started actually video editing stuff, you know, there were all these settings and things that you have to like do to set up the project in the first place, from your like sequence settings to your frame rates to your, you know, the size of video and this and that. Like there's so many different elements that go into that before you even start dropping in things. But because I was approaching this for the first time, I didn't know the questions that I needed to be asking.
And you don't know what you don't know.
Right, that's
Like,
exactly it. You
how
don't
do
know
I
what you don't
go
know.
about it?
And I think that's one of those things that like we think that we understand like the world and how we perceive the world and how humans behave and learn and conceptualize, but we don't. Like
No.
everyone
We
is
know our
completely
experience.
yeah, we know
Yeah.
our experience, and why would we assume that another creature who looks like me and talks like
Yeah.
me and, you know, is my same species would function fundamentally differently? And why would I need to ask them, oh, are you seeing the same thing I am? Are you thinking the same thing I am? Or do you work the same way I do? But it's important when you're in a relationship or just in life, whether it's an employer relationship, whether it's a personal relationship, whatever, to have those conversations so that
Totally.
everyone's happy.
Well, and then we all grow.
Yeah.
Right? Because then like, especially even like working with your spouse, like it challenges me to think like, oh, I get it. Like I thought about it this way, and that's why I was upset, but you were doing this.
Yeah.
And that's like a whole nother.
Right.
Right.
I'm
Exactly.
like, oh, got it.
So do you guys ever this
Oh,
I don't know if this is cool to say. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was like, there's a what's your favorite editing hack or tip?
Oh, we also missed a cowbell. Hold on.
Oh,
I think we did.
Wait, did we miss a cowbell? Shoot, I'm scrolling.
Oh,
Yeah,
there it is.
Oh, I'm so close. I'm so close to the cowbell.
Oh, where is it?
Oh, your Apple
Chris.
device is frustrating me. Chris Pape.
Chris Pick. Woo.
I love that Stephanie's is so dainty. It's like,
Everybody has their own.
There we go. Here,
That's
I'll
what
pass
makes
it back
the
down the
cowbell.
line.
it is.
It's because you can play however you want.
It's its own personality assessment.
Where'd you come up with the idea for the cowbell?
I got the original cowbell's in that bin somewhere with all the giveaway stuff.
Ooh,
But it's a plastic, so someone sent it to me as a joke. And it's a necklace cowbell.
Uh-huh.
But she thought it was gonna be like this big,
Uh-huh.
but it's like this big. And so it shows up, and if you guys remember this, and it's blue, it's plastic, and it was like really loud, and it had like a little bead inside it, like so there was no like this thing.
It sounded like a chicken every time crying, and
It
that's so.
totally did.
Wow, that's a weird cowbell. Really impressive.
And so it got to the point where when people would do any kind of gifting or whatever, we would ring the cowbell. Or if somebody was like, "Oh, I just got out of rehab," or "I just did this," it was like, "Yeah,
Yes,
ring the
okay.
That's
cowbell."
awesome. Yeah.
And so then recently for my birthday this year, one of my viewers sent a real cowbell.
Oh,
I don't know if is he on here?
Nice.
You should show yourself.
Real.
I don't actually think he's on here though. But anyways, yes. So that's where the cowbell comes from.
That's awesome.
That's a good story.
Oh,
So, yeah.
cool.
We had a question about the editing.
Oh, editing
favorite
hacks?
editing hack? Yeah, the favorite edit. Because I know Billy does. She edits videos and stuff. She works for church and the baseball team, and she does a lot of their like marketing videos, stuff like that.
Nice.
Ooh.
Not that I'm sharing all your secrets, Billy, but then they at least know, you know.
Editing hack or trick? God,
It's really hard.
It takes so long to edit.
Yeah,
It does.
Editing is so slow.
I have one word of advice. Something that's helped me recently
Yeah.
is if I know the story I want to tell before I filmed. I mean, we all kind of put together scripts or ideas
Yeah.
or bullet points. But if I know what the arc of it I want to be, not just what I want to say,
Yeah.
then that really helps in editing. When I'm like, ooh, do I want this in or
Mhm.
not? I'm like, oh no, that tells the story.
Right.
Yeah.
What contributes to the art?
For me, it's
Yeah.
always been, I've found the most,
I've patience.
I found one of the best tricks for me is editing to music.
Oh.
Like for me, my workflow was always always, what's my audio? Because all of our stuff is VO. So like I'll start with my VO track, and everything always kind of like that. It lives and dies by that audio track. So that's number one.
Yeah, because you do all voiceover.
Yeah, it's all voiceover. And so I'll always start with that. And then the second thing that I drop in is the music. And so if I'm having trouble editing to what I'm saying or trying to visualize the words that I'm speaking, or I'm looking for a different way to mix things up, I'll then switch over to editing to the music instead, and having things either cut or appear on screen to
certain peaks of
to the different beats, or and all of a sudden it looks much more polished because you have very clear markers, and the audience a lot of times won't be able to identify why it's satisfying to watch or why it's so effective. But that's usually the reason why. It's because you have this like perfect marriage of cuts happening on the beats, things happening on like either things are happening on the words that I'm saying or on the beats and the music. And that makes everything feel like it has a place and it fits together like a puzzle, rather than like, I'm just going to do a bunch of random cuts.
No, but it's true. And it's something if you ever like want to like test this hypothesis, because it's very correct. If you watch like some kind of trailer for a movie and it'll be like, zhoo, boom, and something happens, like it changes on the screen and like, boom, this thing flashes, and it's all on those beats and it's like pleasing to us. And then it always like, because I was actually a music major, a double major with psychology.
No way, that's so
back
cool.
in the day, like there's certain sounds and like scales that feel good to us and we like, and if somebody leaves you hanging on a high note, you're like da da da, like you want it to
you have to automatically complete it.
And so that like ending with that, then you'll be like, and that part's done. It's like our brain is like programmed to be like, and that's soothing. Yes.
I'm obsessed. Or alternatively, you can play into that and not leave them satisfied. So that's another thing where I learned that in musical theater, like Sweeney Todd is a really good example of a show that has it.
Did we miss one?
Did I miss another cowbell? No,
people just want it.
I mean, I don't blame you. I want cowbell all the time. You can never have enough cowbell. But in musical theater, there's one of my favorite shows is Sweeney Todd, which is all about the murderous barber of Fleet Street. And the whole opening sequence is like dark and mysterious and whatever, and then the music suddenly like cuts and you get this like steam whistle, and it's the most jarring thing ever. But it leaves you like in that moment of the jump scare effect of it is so much more impactful because it's completely dissonant with every like the melodic lines and stuff that were happening before, and so it keeps the audience on their guard,
which is how you should be in something that's like a thriller or
right. Exactly. And so it's something that we've done with our videos where like for scary episodes or whatever, our show has very clear patterns where, it's like opening joke, intro sequence, intro paragraph, body, and then like concluding line.
Like, yes, you do follow that.
Yeah, I mean,
every time.
But when we want to make an impact, or like when we, especially for the scary episodes, when we want to catch people off guard or whatever, we automatically break that pattern because viewers are just there's comfort in those patterns, right?
Yeah, that's why so many people who watch YouTube like tropes. They like catchphrases, sign-offs, familiar hellos, familiar
and if you get rid of those, they notice. Like,
right, absolutely.
For a while, I would say like, welcome. I had this little, you guys know, and I would say, I'd intro the topic and I'd be like, and if you're new to my channel, welcome.
Right.
Yeah. And they were like, where's that?
Why am I not welcome anymore?
I know, exactly.
Because you're not
like,
new anymore.
I didn't know you cared about it.
Right. One of the best examples that I remember from a couple of years ago was a channel called Sprinkle of Glitter, if you've ever heard of her. She's a UK like beauty blogger, and she basically like, she started her channel a long time ago, and she always started every episode with, I believe it was hello, like sprinklerinos.
Yes,
sprinklerinos was her thing, and she eventually got to the point where she was like, guys, I'm whatever. I'm like 30. I'm whatever. I'm grown up. I need to transition away. Like I just want to do something else. I just want to say something else.
Yeah, let's grow together.
Exactly. And her audience was so mad about it at first. I mean, I think they came around and everything, but like. They were like, no, we're the sprinklerinos. Like, they were really attached to it. And so, it can be very jarring to break those rituals, you know?
Right. And so it's a tool that you can use. Like, so for us, if I want the audience to be like unsettled or uneasy or feel disturbed in some way, I'll just like break off the line in the middle of it. So like, you expect me to say like, but hey, that's just a theory, a game theory. And so I'll like, but hey, that's just, and people are like, like, oh man, and then if you like do a cut and then the music cuts and it just ends early, people are left on like a very unsettled feeling,
Yeah.
which is helping me convey the emotional response or helping me
'cause
get
you're
the
like,
emotional
this is
response
messed
I want.
up and I don't like it.
Right, exactly.
This
Yeah.
really happens. It's not just a theory or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is, it's funny because I didn't even consider all of that, and that is really powerful, like using those tools.
Mhm.
But Billy, I think something also, and I don't know if you guys do this, but once I know I've filmed something and like I've edited out the me going blah 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 because I messed something up or saying something over, I'll watch it like in like double speed
Mhm.
so that I don't have to like keep. It's not so laborious. I can like move through it.
Oh, yeah.
So once you've kind of done your maiden cuts, doing the double speed, like I think I tap L when I'm on. It's like the arrow forward when I'm editing. I use Premiere Pro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Premiere Pro. That's
Yeah.
that's an editing hack unto itself.
And so I think
Using
going
Premiere
faster,
Pro
yeah. So I think
makes a big difference.
it does. And utilizing tools that are actually easy for you, because like for a while I would do iMovie on the fly when I was like doing 5 videos a week. I was like going to dinner with a friend and I was like shit, and then it would never work. Like it was so hard to drag it to the right spot, and then I was
Right.
like, oh, that's not what I
Yeah,
want.
that's the worst.
Yeah. So use good tools, double time it, notice your music. If you want to know what emotion you want to get across.
Yeah. Also, if you want to, I mean, the easiest editing hack and the thing that solved all, I mentioned earlier, my frustrations with like sequence settings and all this stuff. In Premiere Pro, all you have to do is take whatever your main footage is or whatever your main asset is going to be the thing that you're cutting up. You take it in the like asset folder and you just drag it into the like create new sequence button.
And
And it just automatically makes it, and all the settings are the right frame rate and the right size and everything to that. With like that in and of itself solves so many problems.
And you can copy and paste like things that you've done too. So like, oh, I like this fade out that it took me a while to figure out how fast I wanted to fade. You can just copy those assets and paste them onto something else.
It's true.
Hopefully that's helpful, Billy.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I'm like,
yeah.
we can talk about that a lot.
Right, there's a lot of editing stuff. Also, like our editing is so intense at this point. Like, let's talk about keyframing, shall we?
Let's just get
How do you merge with After Effects?
Oh,
like,
God,
the whole mess. You want to talk about 3D modeling? Because we've done that too. Like, we've pulled out a lot of different tricks in the book at this point, just to like,
Well, your
we're always
stuff
looking
is
at
so
this.
varied. Like mine's just, it's like me.
Right.
Mostly. Sometimes like a little animation. And that's it. You know? But like you have all sorts of stuff going on.
Yeah,
But it keeps people engaged.
way too much stuff going on at this point.
Totally.
All of your babies. They ask
All
for
the babies.
so much. Keyframes chapter 2.
Yeah.
You just know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Okay, let's see. Any other good? Oh, my audiobook you can just buy through Amazon. I believe, or is it? Yeah. Is it?
Your book arrived.
Yes, we just got it. Yeah,
Arrived at
thank
our
you.
house yesterday. We were so excited.
And
We
the-
opened it up.
I
Yeah,
know.
and
I thought it was kind of
it
good.
was
That's a good
hidden.
pen, you know? Yay! So yeah, so
we were very excited.
but the audiobook is in my voice too.
Of course.
Okay, let's see. Anything?
Was it weird reading your own book for the audiobook?
Yes. I mean, I knew it so well.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny because my audio guy was like, "You're a natural. Like, if you ever want to change a career,
Ooh.
you can
Hey,
do audiobooks." And I was
hey.
like, I think it's because I wrote it. Because I know what's
It
gonna
might
happen,
be. Yeah.
and I know how I want to sound.
Right,
Because
sure.
it's me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe if it was someone else or I had to do voices or something.
I was gonna say, I feel like doing the voices becomes hard.
That's what I can't imagine. Because like, how do you're like, and then Joe comes in, and then like I can't do that.
I would assume they must.
You probably could. 'Cause your voice
my
would
voices
work.
my voices are terrible. Like I can do my voice and I can do like bad character voices, but the shtick is that they're not consistent, which is good. Like that's what I go for because I can't keep them consistent. But like I feel like if you're recording an audiobook, they must group together all the character lines. So that way you're just going through like I'm in my British. See, I can't even do a British accent right now, but like I'm the old crotchety guy, and I'm going through all the old crotchety lines. Woo-hoo! And so that, right?
Well, you're in it.
Yeah, I think
That one sounds good on you. Old crotchety. Old crotchety.
I mean, like you said earlier,
Got it.
I'm 80 years old and we do puzzles and eat at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Doing a live stream on the internets has made us push our dinner time back to like,
Way later than me.
it's getting indigestion.
Right.
It's all for the audience.
So you guys live stream every day,
We try. So
or 5 days.
It
Yeah,
ends
I-
up being about like
for-
on average 3 days.
for like
Okay.
2 years straight, we were like 5 days a week, really consistent about it. Then with like the baby and
Just a lot of travel lately.
Yeah, so much
Us
travel this
too.
past year. We have to interrupt it for that. We don't do like mobile live streaming, so we have like that. You saw it, like the big honkin' setup with the.
Yeah, they have a really cool
the
setup.
live
This is
stream.
like we're in my dining room.
I love this. Also, this table is great.
Yeah,
This is
feeling
a
the
really
table, yeah.
awkward comment, but it's like a really nice. She's got this like great like dining room table.
It was my first like adult purchase, you guys. It's a Crate and Barrel table,
Ooh,
and I got it on
that's
like
nice.
super sale, like Cyber Monday, like
Oh, nice.
I don't know, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Crate and
This is
Barrel,
nice.
like that's
What
some
about your
expensive
couch?
stuff.
Because I love that one too. I'm just like pilfering Kane's house right now.
It was West Elm, another sale.
Wow.
Hey,
this
say
is
good.
Nice.
And then it was late delivery, so they gave us $300 off.
Whoa!
What?
Sean's really good at just being like, well, I was just disappointed.
And-
And I like feel bad. I'm like, it's totally fine.
oh yeah, that's totally me.
Right?
And
I'm-
I just don't want a conversation.
yeah, right. Please,
Yeah,
please.
exactly.
Yes, we haven't had a couch for a while now because
Yes,
we thought
this
it was
is true.
coming. And
But it's
the
okay.
other one was sold.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I'm
fine.
the
I
worst.
can wait another 6 weeks. It's no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like 6 or 8 weeks or something. So they gave us like, I think it was 300 or 350 gift card.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not bad.
And then we got the coffee table from that gift card.
Ooh.
Hey!
Wow.
Look at you. Man!
But I'm glad you like, this is, over years and years. Sean and I've been together
Yeah.
forever. So it's like slowly
How
getting
long
there.
have you been together?
10 and a half years or something.
Oh, wow.
It's almost the same as you guys, right? You said, were you longer than that?
We're old. We've been like together older.
Now
than
Well, you're
sure.
from college. Like,
Yeah.
Sean and I
Yeah,
did- I was in graduate school when I met
What is
Sean.
it at this point?
13 years.
Oh, wow.
13.
Lucky number 13!
Yay.
Lucky 13!
How long have you been married?
We got married in 2012,
2012.
so
So
6 years.
6 years.
6.5 years, yeah.
You ever?
I know. Way to go.
Wow.
You made it.
We did. Well, I don't know. I mean,
You've made it that far.
right.
And I think it's going well. So.
Is the girl supposed to be the one who keeps track of the anniversaries?
Yes.
And Matthew is actually better at keeping track of the anniversaries
True.
than I am.
I proposed to Stephanie on our 1,500 day anniversary.
That's how good he is.
I'm
This is
terrible.
what I can't keep up with that.
She's like, why 1,500 days? I'm like, because it was a round and large number.
And it just sounded romantic.
Right?
Exactly.
Because I cared that much.
I'm horrible. Like for a long time, I was like, how long? When did we get married? I'm
Right?
like,
I know.
I'm
It just
bad.
There you
sounds
go,
like
yeah.
a Paris.
Yeah, so don't worry, I'm no better. But luckily Sean's not either, so then it's just like, how long? I don't know, like about, 6 years, I don't know.
Ish.
Was-
Round it up.
Was year 5 the wood anniversary, and this year was the
Oh.
steel
See,
anniversary?
we don't keep track of that either. Wasn't one like paper?
We
well,
don't.
number one year is paper.
It's paper.
The first
yeah.
year is paper. The second year is burlap.
Mm,
Wasn't it burlap?
Where
There's
does this come from also? I've been wondering about
The
this.
thing is, there's like 15 different lists.
Yeah, and if you don't know what we're talking about, there's certain like gifts you're supposed to give on each anniversary.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Sean and I have not done well. At first I was like, should we do this thing?
So
It
we don't
it
do
gives you something fun.
Yeah,
to do, I
we
guess.
don't do it either. But
One of my
The-
friends is she does it every year.
well, adorably, Matthew's parents actually get us each one each year, so we don't have to keep track of it. Here you go.
Here, team Bell.
Thank you, Jackson. We
Team
got
Bell.
okay. Take your earbuds
Jackson.
out if it's gonna bug you. Thank you, Jackson.
I like inside. I think I like inside.
You like
better.
yours best?
Really, I like
the do.
yeah, just on the outside. Baseball
Everybody's got their own.
Ooh, you could do like.
technique.
Yeah, you could.
Whoa, right?
So
Or
many.
Does
I
anyone,
like the
does anyone click it
freedom
on
of
this
leaving
side
it
too? Because
I
like,
mean, you probably could.
I mean, this
Does
is
it give the same
this is the
sound?
non-traditional side. I don't know. We can't know until we get
We'd
another
have to
Until
wait.
generation.
someone else
can't-
donates.
We'll never know.
I know, I'm very curious.
Please donate
Right,
so I can
Please don't.
find out what the other sides of the bill sound like.
Oh,
That's what I'm
Alice
going
McCall
for.
says how we are. So I've been doing YouTube for almost the same amount of time. You guys 7.5 years.
Yep.
I think yeah, 7 and some. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I'm bad with anniversaries.
Katie, I gotta ask you.
Mhm. Yes.
This is a complete departure,
Okay,
but it
we're
kind
gonna-
of goes
we're
back.
deviating.
But it kind of talks about YouTube anniversaries. Are you in the YouTube Rewind, Miss
No,
Golden Girl of
I've
YouTube?
never been.
Never?
Never.
Okay.
Never. Oh
Okay.
man.
I think I was told last year because somebody had asked me or whatever, and my partner manager was like, "Oh, you have to have 1 million subscribers."
Really?
Really? No, we know people who have fewer than
That's
a lie.
not true.
So no, I'm not in it because when we went to that
Don't
crazy
believe their lies.
event, I never believe their lies.
YouTube exposed.
At least historically, that hasn't been true.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that this year they did fewer people, so that it wasn't just like, if you blinked, you missed me. I was in
Oh,
it, I
really? Is
swear.
that what's going on?
So that was a
'Cause
problem
Elle
from
was
last
in it.
year for sure. Who?
Wait, who?
Because Elle Mills was telling me that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know how much we're supposed to even share.
We got
Not that I didn't
No,
do
no,
it.
we
We
weren't
got
in it
X.
this
I mean,
year.
I don't
We weren't in
know.
I
it.
got X and I'm sad.
It's
It
okay.
means I'm irrelevant now, I guess.
No.
That-
I think it's
I'm
I tell them it's
I'm
gonna be
predicting
fun.
that everyone's just going to be doing like the floss and Fortnite dances the
I
entire
know, I'm
time.
not good with that stuff.
Man,
I don't do that
I
stuff.
could have done that.
You could.
I could have learned to fly.
I could have too.
I know,
I would have practiced.
pro-
Right? I would too. I would have
Whole
totally in front of the bathroom mirror,
In
just
pure
flossing,
nerd fashion, I would have
flossing, and then
practice.
flossing.
Because I don't know. Flossing and flossing.
Yeah.
Things very important. Oh, you want to try?
Johnny Laura.
Take it, Johnny Laura.
Here we go.
Ready?
This is alternate sides.
Do it again. Oh, I like that sound. Oh, it's basically the same. It's all the same. Wow.
There you go. Sound resonance. Same on whatever side you hit cowbell. What hit it at the top?
Oh, higher.
It's a little closer, yeah.
No, it's just
That's
something
more of a
good.
clacky.
Yeah. That's like playing the washboard.
So
This
creative.
is what I do with Oliver. Actually,
Oh, really?
I bang cowbells. Learn music. No, but I like having him around has kind of like encouraged me to try to come up with a lot of different strategies and ways to use the things in the world around him to like explore them.
Entertain, yeah.
Yeah, so like a yoga ball isn't just like, hey, let's push a ball or like let's squish a ball, but it's also like let's feel the texture of the ball and like let's feel the texture of the ball with different orientation. So like if the stripes are horizontal, let's like rotate it now it's vertical stripes. But it's also
let's
like
hit it
let's-
so that it makes a resonance sound.
Yeah,
the
let-
vibration of
yeah.
it.
yeah, let's hit it, but also let's hit it with like just our fingers. Let's hit it with our hand. Let's hit it loud. Let's hit it soft. Let's hit it like, let me lay on it so it's tight and then hit it
Mhm.
versus let me like keep it loose
Yeah.
and hit it. Like, so the cowbell's
You're
another,
like this
it's
is
like,
another.
there's any number of things
Oh,
that you
yeah,
can
this
do with this, because this now, you can, oh, I thought that was premature.
Yeah,
That was unwarranted. That was, you owe us a donation now, apparently.
An extra cowbell.
Right, but it's like you can run it on this, you can slide it, you can put it on the table and see how it
Oh, yeah.
resonates. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
It's funny that becoming a father has made you like more, I don't know, curious.
But
I guess with him.
Yeah.
yeah,
It takes you, it forces you to look really closely at the things that you take for granted, I think, is my like interpretation of it, where nothing is just like, oh, this is a thing that I don't need to think about or whatever. It's like everything to him is for first of all, much bigger, right? So Skip, our cat, is like a lion to him,
Yes.
right? Like, literally, for a
We're
while,
the same size.
yeah,
as him.
now they're
Oh,
the
yeah.
same size.
They're-
Before he was
I think Skip is still
smaller.
there,
Yeah.
Skip is longer,
Skip's
but like,
long.
but now it's not just a cat. It's a cat. Like, watch when he moves this way. Watch when he moves this way. Watch when you see his face. What does his fur feel like? Not that I take the cat for granted anyway, and I like all those things about the
You
cat.
don't
But
think
there's a
about
new.
it.
You don't think about it actively, but even something much more simple, like literally anything you could pick up. It's like, oh, this is a smooth texture, but it has holes, and his fingers are so tiny
Yeah,
that he
you
could
might-
feel that.
Mhm.
And it's too heavy for him. What's too heavy? What's too light? What's like, everything becomes this like really detail oriented process of like, is this interesting? Why is it interesting? What can you do with it? How does it move, shape, everything?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
It's the same thing too, like where, you know, as you develop, you don't understand that things have multiple angles and different and
Yeah.
like if I'm looking at this way, you know, that might not be the same thing as this.
Yeah.
That might not be the same thing as this.
But
Like,
these are things we learn and
Yeah.
get used to, and we take for granted that we just know. Like,
yeah, this is a
also-
cowbell.
It's fun when they realize like the shapes like reaching past something,
Mhm.
or, because like when their depth perception isn't developed yet.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Because they'll kind of reach, and you're like, oh, it's like way farther or way closer. They're like, you know, they
Right.
because they just
Yeah.
don't know.
They don't
A
realize it.
couple
Yeah.
of weeks ago, we went out we went out to Dick's Sporting Goods and bought like 40 balls, like just different balls of like shapes and
Tennis
textures
balls,
and stuff,
yeah.
ping pong balls, all that kind of stuff. And so like I literally did this where I just like moved the ball toward him, and then he reached out his hand from the other side, and he just missed like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, your perception must just be so different because
it develops. It's like one of the last
Yeah.
things, not one of the last things, but it's like when it comes to visual stuff, like when they're born, so they don't see all the color ranges,
Right.
and then their depth perception isn't there at all first. So that's why when you have like a newborn, they say muted colors. I think that's where like all the pale colors for babies came from,
Yeah.
because they don't like, it's not going to make a difference essentially. You don't need bright colors, actually more soothing for them to be around pale colors. And if you get close, you're like, hi, you get them right in their face.
Yeah.
And that's because then they can see you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
We have this
developmental psych is so
developmental psych is great. We have this book that someone gave us as a baby shower gift that is experimenting on your child. It's not like actual, like, I mean, there are actually experiments that you could potentially run, like that are baby friendly and this and that, to see like where they are. But it's a collection of some of the big developmental milestones that research has shown, like, oh, the baby won't crawl to the edge of the table because it knows that there's a drop off, and like evolutionarily advantageous stuff.
A lot.
And so like one of the really cool ones early on is like right from the get go, if you do 3 dots on a piece of paper in a triangle, like the corners of a triangle, and the 3 dots are like eye, nose, the baby the baby will focus on it longer than if you rotate it.
Oh, because it's like a comfortable.
Because babies are primed evolutionarily to want to respond to faces.
You have to attach. To get care. That's why sucking and swallowing soothes their system. So it's like being fed. Essentially soothes them.
Right.
Like in their brain.
It encourages. It's
really crazy.
And so the fact that you like rotate the dots around and suddenly it's like an inverted face, they're like, I don't care.
Yeah, like, this important.
This is not going to help me.
That will keep me alive.
Maybe Katie can help assuage your fears.
Oh, we got another one.
Wait, we owe 2.
Okay, we have 2. So somebody said, thank you, Sean.
Sean,
because we're all caught up because you did.
I know we're all caught up on the cowbell.
But MatPat really likes the cowbell, so
this is a gentle cowbell.
It is a nice gentle cowbell. Right. And then we have Zenda Crust. How do you implement therapy programs on a national scale for countries that are widely scarred by human trafficking, like Cambodia?
Well, this is a very serious thing. So before we get to the serious topic.
You should cowbell that one.
Yeah, because that's a very specific question.
And then get into
that. I just am a regular cowbell kind of girl. Ready? Pull your earbuds out. Thank you, Zenda Crust. Woo, 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 woo.
Oh, so you only do like a 3.
Yeah.
Very, very conservative with your belling.
Conservative.
See,
well, you can't waste it. She's long loaded.
We gotta spread it around, and not everybody loves it, so it's just a little bit, and then.
Oh, see. We're just those gratuitous cowbells.
It's new to you.
It is.
I cowbell.
I'm like a baby with this. It's a cowbell. Oh, this is
so magical.
Here, anyway.
So implementing therapy programs. This is something I'm actually like in talks with the Kailash Foundation to figure out how I can help past just raising money. Like, how do we get people trained, because they don't really have much therapy. If you watch the documentary, you'll see that they do have like a counselor, but I asked Kailash about it, and he was like, well, I mean, she's not really trained. She's not like a licensed therapist. She's just trained to try to help them feel safe. That's like her goal, which is it's very important and it's very warranted. But I think that we need to take it a step further. And something really cool that my friend Alexa, it's like a colleague of a colleague. So my friend Alexa's colleague, all she does is train people to go to places of war, like whether that be in Afghanistan or whether, that be in El Salvador, it doesn't really matter. She goes there and will train their local people on how to manage PTSD symptoms.
Wow.
Because people don't need to be like, yes, if you're in developed country and if this isn't what's going on, you should see a licensed professional, but it's not necessary. People just need to, the same way like my videos, I'm always offering you tools and things. People just need to know what to do.
Yeah.
And if people are already trying to help, we can arm them with tools.
Yeah.
And so I think the best thing you can do is honestly come to understand PTSD yourself. I have a ton of videos about it. You can understand what the symptoms can be. And then helping people, A, notice their triggers. So what really stirs me up. B, knowing how to soothe their system. So that would be anything from like, oh, progressive relaxation helps me, or going for a walk helps me, or listening to music, or whatever they have access to. Some people's just think of your 5 senses. How can you use that to calm your system? And then the last and final, once that stuff's on board, then you can start talking through the scary thing. And that's like the process part where like our brain gets another chance to be like, okay, it was overwhelming at the time, but now let's talk through it one more time. Like we talk about Inside Out, like it's putting together that marble of a memory, because our brain likes narrative form, putting that narrative back together and then rolling it away. Does that make sense?
That's right. That's a cool metaphor. I like that.
Inside Out, we talk about it. So
Yeah.
because like trauma memories are like if the marble got dropped.
Yeah.
And it's like
It's
splintered
just
everywhere.
yeah.
And that's why we have flashbacks, because we're like something else kind of sounds, smells
Mm.
like
Yeah, it
that.
makes you-
And
right,
so you
makes you
see
think
a
that.
step
Piece of
on
it.
that splinter and you're like, ah,
Yeah.
and it like shoots you back into part of that memory.
Right.
Oh
So you
wow.
put the marble back together.
Yeah.
And you
But it takes time, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's like super glue and slow until it
Yeah.
all is smooth.
Yeah.
So hopefully that kind of helps end across, and it's something that I'll be like trying to figure out also, like the best ways to do that. But those are kind of my thoughts.
Do you have like any dreams, or like are you interested in ever going like to
Yes.
other parts of the world and being boots on the ground with that kind of thing?
I'd love to, like in I guess within reason. Because traveling, I love to travel and I love to experience different cultures, but like safety and security is really important. And I would want to put Sean and I like really do. I mean,
Right, of
I'm
course.
I'm an adrenaline junkie when it comes to like, I like to snowboard at a moderate pace.
Right.
No, not so much. I'm going into a war-torn country and
No.
like I'm on the front lines.
Yeah.
No, okay.
It's a little too much.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to wear bulletproof vests or
Ooh,
anything.
yeah.
I mean, it might feel better if I did, but like I don't want to have to.
Right.
But I do think it'd be great to share, because I don't think that all the knowledge or understanding of mental health should be kept in certain countries, because
Right.
it definitely is. Only like a lot of it's cultural,
Mhm.
but a lot of it's also just accessibility to education.
Yeah.
And so I think that would be really cool. So that's something cool with like the Kailash Foundation. My hope is to go to India and go to the ashram where they rescue the boys and take them to, you'll see it in the documentary, and then be able to train more people to do essentially what the kids need.
Yeah. It is a really special type of person who is able to do that more extreme type
Yes.
of adrenaline, like
And put themselves in harm's way.
yeah. I did
Yeah.
I did a show 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago at this point, called The Runner. It was on Go 90. I hosted it. It was a very cool like reality TV-esque show. It was like The Amazing Race, but like across America. It was very fun. But my co-host on the show, Kaj, was a journalist. Yeah, with and-
going.
but like had actually was like a wartime journalist in a lot of cases, and like the stories he would talk about where it was like, oh yeah, here I was on the like the demilitarized like border, but you still had like one morning we just woke up and there were like mortar shells like flying our way and everything, you know.
And he's like the most calm, serene guy.
I guess we have to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Like everything's chaos, so you just like steady as she goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was like rock solid, and just a really like sweet, nice guy. Like
It was great.
the joke during their show is that they had this like little bromance or whatever going on, and
Such a
so
great guy.
they would like, he was like out in the field and Matthew was like in the studio and he would like toss to Kaj in the field and they'd have like
no,
whatever.
it's Kaj in the field.
Yeah, no, it was.
Exactly.
But it was also one of those things too where like I think when a lot of your life experience is like in wartime, like on the front lines, like hearing gunfire all the time or like mortar shells near you or whatever. Well, for him, I'm sure like you become so desensitized to a lot of that stuff too, where like you say that he's such a calm person, like what's
gonna
going to rattle
scare
you in like day-to-day life when literally you've had these situations where it's just like, okay, everyone like hit the deck.
Yeah,
kind of
like
thing.
our lives are threatened.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Where we might be like, ooh, that I didn't see that dog there or something.
Right, like, oh my gosh, there's a dog and it's somewhat large, or at least is barking more aggressively at me, or like my cat is chasing me around the house because I walked in his area of
Exactly.
the
You're
house.
like,
It's
oh,
like,
I
oh no,
was
this is so
there.
scary. He's just like, oh yeah, but
That's interesting though. And I've always wondered, because like another thing I'd like to create in the future, and I've talked to you guys about this too, is like in the same way we would train people to better help, I'd like to have video series for like first responders, because they tend to struggle with PTSD or managing like first usually it's hypervigilance and then it's desensitization.
Yeah.
So like, how do we manage that process and make them still feel okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd love to do that stuff, but all in due time, right? Ooh.
Right. Exactly. There's plenty of time.
Okay, now
Well,
now
now we're caught up.
Okay.
Sean's not trying to make sure that we're caught
He's-
up. Because I gave
Okay.
a bonus.
we gave
Oh,
Because I'm like, you
Don't do it. Big
No, don't worry. We're good. Your prize is no combo.
exactly.
And we're even now. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so what other questions do you guys have? Let's see. Ooh, lots of things. Okay, if I do see a therapist occasionally, but not have either of you been in therapy before?
I have not.
No.
Oh, Sean hasn't either.
My mom has done some therapy, and like lots of other members of our family, just like extended family.
Yeah.
But yeah, neither of us.
Yeah, I mean, for the question, so if not seeing someone on a regular basis, I think you can ask for more homework in between. It's okay to ask your therapist to like give you more tools, more workbooks and stuff, because that's really where the real work happens. And then ask if you can see them more often, as much as you can. I know like money can be prohibitive. You can ask them to work on a sliding scale. And I know time can be prohibitive, but maybe they'll do like Skype or texting or something within reason, as long as the boundaries are okay and they're okay with it. It's a certain time and, you know, very restricted in that way. Yeah, I love therapy. I mean, I'm a therapist, but like a lot of therapists aren't in therapy themselves.
Right.
But I've been trying to like get Sean to try it out too, because he's never been. It's just fun to talk to somebody who doesn't know anything else.
Yeah.
Other than what you tell them.
I was gonna say, like, so for Sean, if you were to go into therapy and not have a specific issue to address, where would you start that conversation?
I think it'd be like, what would you like to improve? So it doesn't have to be. I mean, yes, we
Interesting.
can go and definitely do go if you're like, I'm not sleeping well
Right.
and my heart is racing and my doctor told me it's anxiety, so here I am. You know, that's
Right.
usually what happens. We go to our regular doctor first. We're like, I think I keep catching a cold, and they're like, I think you might be depressed.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're called psychosomatic symptoms. It's like what your brain makes your body feel.
There's an example of it in the first chapter of the book.
There is.
I read it.
Spoilers.
I only had it for a day. I haven't made it through the whole thing.
Wow. Yeah. Yay.
When did you have time to read?
You know.
Late at night, early in the morning.
I don't know.
I know.
We were up late last night.
Yeah,
you were writing scripts about deaths in Disney movies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And I was
interesting.
in the closet recording, and then my audio failed, and then I just got sad and frustrated. I need.
Well, you could talk about that.
I could talk about that
in therapy.
in therapy. How do I improve my audio? Because for whatever reason, Audacity is just like crapping out on me these days. It's very sad.
But that makes a lot of sense. So you start with, like, you identify like what not your weakness so much, but like something that bothers you, and like how can I help overcome that?
Exactly. So like, for instance, it wouldn't be so much like the audio failing you. It'd be like me managing disappointment or frustration or failure, depending on what's going on. And you'd be like, I wish I was better at that.
Yeah.
Like for like, even for Sean and I was like, maybe we should preemptively get into therapy because we haven't been in couples counseling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I just like to have more tools to communicate, because I feel like we should always over communicate versus not enough.
Oh my gosh, are you the wheedler? Because I'm the wheedler. I'm like, hey, talk about what you're feeling. Hey, are you feeling something? I can tell you're feeling something. You should probably tell me what you're feeling.
I am the wheedler.
Yeah, the wheedler.
That's what you call it.
Yeah, that's what I call it. I call myself, I'm the wheedler.
He, over the years, over like, you know, the last 13 years, he has to do much less wheedling than he
I do
used
too.
to
He's
have
gotten
to.
better.
Yeah. And occasionally,
Or at least like,
Or they
less than
pretend
just,
enough to.
right? Like, gotten better, and by better it means just like, okay, fine, I'm just gonna tell
Yeah,
you. Like,
I know where this
Yeah, I know.
Exactly. And occasionally I can flip the script and, you know, because everybody has stuff that bothers them, but either they're not ready to talk about it yet, or they are trying to pretend it's not a problem or push it down or something like that. And one of the things that Matthew is actually like, and sounds really sappy, but like one of the things he's taught me is how important it is to talk, even if you can't fully articulate your full feelings at that moment. At least you can like, give your partner or friend or family member or whatever like some kind of indication of how you're feeling. And then if they love you on the other side, and if they're respectful, they'll take that feeling and be like, okay, I might not understand exactly why you're feeling that feeling, but I know what that feeling is like, and I can at least respect it, and we can, work from there.
Yeah, and support as much as I can. And it is interesting because like you don't have to know how to fully form it. Yeah. I'm more of a like talking it out like chaos, and then Sean's like, do I need? I'm like, no, I'm just you're just sounding bored. I don't know how I feel.
Right.
I just know I don't like this. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. I think I don't.
Well, and that actually goes back to, what we were talking about earlier about the communication and how people work in different ways. Because I'm very much like, there's a problem, let's solve it. Let's figure out the solution. Let's just do it. Let's talk through it. Let's bang my head against the wall. Yeah. Whereas Stephanie is like, hey, sometimes I want a solution. Sometimes I don't.
And I definitely don't always want a solution.
Yeah.
They say that's like a male-female thing. I don't know, but I think it's just personal.
I hear we are from Mars.
That word on the screen.
I know.
I do eventually want to get to a solution, but sometimes I have to get through the I don't like this to get to the point of saying, why don't I like this? And sometimes you just have to get out like, I don't like this, and I don't like this, and I don't like this, and I don't like this. And then once all that's out, you realize oh, those 5 things that I don't like actually equate to like this problem. And this is a solvable problem now.
But you might not know it's even linked to that.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, you're just like, sometimes I'll just be like, I don't know, I'm just angry, but I don't really know where it's coming from yet, so like give me a minute.
Yeah, we call that non-specific stress.
And we articulate it that way. We're like, I can tell that you're upset. I can tell that something's wrong. What's wrong? What's wrong? It's like, I don't know. It's non-specific stress.
Yeah,
we literally say, I have
will
non-specific stress.
or like last night, when the audio failed and then I just got like really grumpy. It was like, Stephanie's like, what's the matter? And I'm like, well, my audio failed, and also like I hate that I'm not exercising these days, and also I'm really tired, and we're behind on scripts, and everyone else is so successful on YouTube, and they get 5 million views for doing literally nothing, and their videos are like 4 minutes, and ours are like 15 minutes and take hundreds of hours to produce, and they're making like millions of dollars, and I'm not the YouTube Rewind. So, all that.
And then I was like,
and it's all just the audio fail.
And I literally was like, I think this might not be about the
audio. But it never really is, because I think the thing that I'm learning about myself is like, if every time I'm kind of disappointed or like, I'm not in YouTube Rewind and I'm hurt, which sounds silly.
It's not that big of a deal.
But it can be, and it's okay. It's okay for things to be a big deal, even if other people could think they're stupid.
Yeah.
It's okay for it to be a big deal because it's a validation. We all seek validation,
right?
Whether we want to admit it or not, we all need to be validated. Like, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
So I think that is like one little thing where, because we know it's silly, we're like, I shouldn't feel that.
Right, yeah. Which makes it worse.
We judge our feeling, and then it's stuck down. So when the audio breaks, you're like, no, it wasn't also on YouTube.
Right.
Like, I just really want to tell somebody that. But I'm disappointed.
That's why I'm unburdening right now.
Good.
And to you, unburdening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to my insecurities.
Yeah.
But everybody has insecurities. And I think it's like we judge them as adults. That's the thing that's beautiful about children, is there's no judgment.
Right.
There's like, I don't want to, I'm sad because I'm tired.
Oh my gosh, he's so sad when he's tired. All the he's like, I'm tired. It's like, you're just working yourself up and you're going to get more tired.
Yeah. But if we're tired, we're like, I shouldn't be. I should have gone to bed earlier. There's like judgment. Yeah. I have all this stuff to do. You just got to deal with it. We like talk ourselves out of it. And then one thing sets us off after this buildup of things, which sounds silly, but it's actually, I think most of people's stress is all those little things. Like there was that book years ago that was like, don't stress the small stuff, and it's all small stuff.
It's all small stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
But all that small stuff adds up.
Right.
It's like all those quarters would fill a whole room.
Whoa! Nice. Wow, good callback.
We call that one too. We're like, when we're acknowledging that it's this buildup of like a million little things, we're like, I'm feeling death by 1,000 paper cuts. I'm just like, I'm feeling that feeling.
I like that. Yeah.
That's like, it's just one neat way of summarizing that. Like, there are too many things for me to even like articulate. They're all really small. Individually, they're stupid, or they feel like they should be stupid, but together they're just like this weight. And I think like there's been a lot. I mean, like you've talked about it for sure. Like talking about burnout on YouTube, and you've talked about sustainability. Like we've done sustainability presentations at YouTube and stuff at VidCon. And I think a lot of YouTubers have that problem because they're in this open-ended universe of choice.
Yes.
And so every little decision you make seems to have all of these like ramifications or like effects down the road. And then they're also a lot of like the big YouTubers are presented with lots of opportunities.
Yeah.
Some of which you say yes to, a lot of which you have to say no to, but they're all decisions. They all take that decision-making energy.
Yeah.
And it feels like if you're not doing every little tiny thing perfectly, it's all your fault because you're your own business, you're your own creator, and everything just reflects straight back at you.
Totally.
So I think a lot of like when I think about like YouTube creator burnout, I think for like the people we know, a lot of it is that.
No, totally. And something that I just saw this is silly how like you can be inspired through totally different mediums and things. But I follow Busy Phillips on Instagram, and sometimes I love what she says, sometimes I don't. But yesterday she was she didn't go to her workout, and I was like, because she works out pretty regularly, and I'm always like, I should be doing that. Damn it, anyways. But one thing at a time. And so anyway, she said, I said no to the workout this morning because I was just feeling maxed out. And instead I put on a face mask and took a bath because she dropped her kids off at school and they came home. And then the next screen was just her with this goopy face mask on. And she was like, sometimes a small no is a big yes. And I was like, I really like that because sometimes, because I struggle to say no. I'm horrible with like disappointing
right,
people,
of course.
or things like everything. Everybody wants your time.
Yeah.
Everybody wants something of you. It's not just a creator thing; it's a human thing.
It
Like,
is.
could you grab that for me? I'm having a hard time. I'm going to call you, and I want you to listen. Or we have people who depend on us, like feeding the baby and taking care of it and making sure there's a home that you can still pay for. Like there's all these things, right? And so like we have all these pressures, but sometimes one small no can like open up a window where then it makes you feel so much better. It could be like a bigger yes when that no really wasn't that important, but we put this big weight on it for some reason. Like, oh, I couldn't do that one brand deal, or I couldn't make that one event. And you feel bad, but it's like not this.
Oh my gosh, we were just talking about this one thing this morning. So if you don't know, if you're not in the video game world, you probably wouldn't know that the video game awards are coming up next week.
Oh,
we've been invited to the video game awards several years in a
Can they
row.
vote for you or anything?
No, we're
No.
not nominated. It's for like the big game
It's
publishers.
Like,
this is their
this is
awards
the best
ceremony.
game of the year.
Oh,
or stuff like that.
It's a super fun event
It's
to
really
go
cool
to.
event.
It's really cool. They live stream it. It's an exceptionally well done event.
Yeah, the guy who puts it together, Jeff Keighley, is like he's such a nice guy and he cares so much about it. He does
like
a
he
does a really good job with it because he really wants video games to be like a legitimate art form that gets recognized.
And they are, and like everything, like even being a YouTuber, people are like, that's not a real job.
We're still going up the learning curve,
Yes.
right? And so he's the guy who's like trying to like legitimize it through his like
That's so
traditional.
cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So the first year we got it, I think it was first or second year, something like that. We had this like really stressful day ahead of time. Matthew didn't feel like he had cool clothes to wear to it or whatever.
Again, the cool clothes thing.
Behind,
is
yeah,
nice.
oh yeah, I know. Behind on
And then
videos,
take your picture.
all of that. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So we're driving. We get in the car. We're both really like just mad, and we like are driving, and there's a bunch of traffic, and we're like, and we're running late. And Matthew's like, we're running late, and I don't have anything to wear, and we're so behind. And all of a sudden, we're like in this traffic in Malibu, and we're like, and I was like, why don't we just not go?
Yeah. What if he's turning on?
Why don't we just not go? And we were like, there's this place in Malibu that's like this wine place called Duke's.
Yeah,
it's like
I love
super 1980s.
We'd
like,
always meant to go, and we're
We
always
could go have a barefoot bar too, where it's like sand.
what? Oh, that's cool.
It's called the Barefoot
We went at
Bar.
night. We went like
So it
30
was a
minutes
real
before they
restaurant.
closed.
Yeah.
But they have this thing called their like what Kahlua pie, or no, not Kahlua. That's alcohol. It's this macadamia nut, the massive macadamia nut pie sundae.
Because Kahlua is like a chocolatey hazelnut.
Yeah.
I think it might be
No,
Kahlua pie.
So instead of going to the video game awards,
Version.
yeah, we pulled off at Duke's, which we'd never been to. The restaurant was like empty. We went and sat in our like formal wear and just ate an ice cream sundae, which
ice cream.
full disclosure was like total self-medicating, but
You needed it.
But instead of going to like this really crowded event with like pressure and everyone looking at you and having to talk to a ton of people all night, we sat alone in a restaurant and talked to each other and ate some ice cream, and then we went home.
Make sure that Jeff Keighley doesn't see
Don't
this video.
tell Jeff.
Don't tell Jeff Keighley, because we said
No offense.
we were going to be
It's
late
just a
anyway.
rough day.
It would have been really hard
We
for us to
were
have made it
like,
anyway.
it was a mess. The whole thing was a mess, but it was a little no.
Yeah.
and the rest of the night was like a big yes. It was like,
Yeah.
it was so much better.
And I think that's like something I'm trying to remember, because we always try to say yes, 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 yes. And you end up in those situations where you're like bickering, you're like, I don't know, and I don't know.
Right?
And yeah. And I have to get there and I have to talk to people.
And also, like, I mean, like, our lives should be dictated by us.
Yes.
Because we work for ourselves. We, you know, we own our company, you work for yourself. Like, it's one of those things that, like, the essence of the YouTuber is like, oh, you're doing it yourself. Like, look at this freedom.
Yeah.
But we've built up so many structures and commitments, and you know,
we've like chained ourselves to it.
yeah, like between the emails and the like video release schedules and the events and the demands of everyone who works with us and for us, and the editors like need a script on time, and there's so much stuff around it that like a lot of times it feels like and you feel trapped. And then at the same time, it's like, it's made even worse by the fact that it's like, but we should be so free, and we're not. And then there's that guilt wave that comes on, and then you feel guilty about it. And then it's like, is Stephanie working harder than you? And then it's like, you're more guilty. And so it's just like guilt and guilt and guilt and trap, and you're contained. And it's just like, it builds up, and it's hard. And then you're not in the YouTube rewind.
I'm so sorry about that.
It's fine.
But I think like it is important. That's why I thought that was so powerful. One small no.
Yeah.
And it's
So
really what that
true.
is
It's so
boundaries.
true. Yeah.
What are my limits?
Yeah.
What am I okay with? What am I not okay with?
Well, and also it's you telling yourself that, hey, I can prioritize you. Because Steph and I say this all the time. Like, we are the last priority.
It's the same. And that's not okay, because
Right.
we have to keep doing what we do. So it's
Not
like
okay.
self-care, which I always talk about how important self-care is.
Self-care is really important.
And it looks totally different for everybody. So like self-care can be playing video games for some people, it could be going for a walk for another, it could be calling a good friend, find something to petting an animal.
Right.
Doesn't have to be super intense, you don't have to set a bunch of stuff up.
Yeah.
Sometimes for me it can just be sitting in silence. Amazing.
Yeah. Great. No, but it's so true. Like, and it's one of those things that I think Steph and I are doing better at, or we're kind of forcing ourselves to get better at.
It's a process. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight.
I mean, it's the example I always use is like at the house, like at our house, like we will clean every other room, and we'll fix up every other room or whatever, and our bedroom is always the one that like we still don't have side tables, and so we're still putting
our phone's
water
on the floor.
water on the floor, and then you knock it over, and you're like, oh damn, and I knocked over the water, but
why don't we have a table?
Exactly.
because we gotta fix the baby room, or we gotta fix the kitchen, or like we need to fix ourselves.
Yeah, totally. And I think
You have to fix yourself.
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you for taking
Yep.
time.
Yeah, of course.
I think our time's about up. Because I know we started a little bit late, but we've got lots of stuff to do.
Yeah, we'll
We've
hang
got
out, more
lots of
cowbell, more
money to make.
giveaways.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel unburdened. Thank
Yay.
you. This is
Yay.
good. This was nice.
Katie's like, I've never read them over again. I just had to
No,
talk them through.
I
their
loved
issues.
it. I loved it.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
And they can donate through your stuff too. Tell them a
Exactly.
little bit about them.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, please.
You're the
Go for it,
salesman.
Steph.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, no, you're doing great the other day.
I don't know how that fell on me, but
I don't know. You just seized the reins, and I'm like, great. You can keep going.
we are also part of YouTube Giving Week. We are raising money for the Brain and Behavior Research Foundation, which is an organization that funds research grants for a whole spectrum of mental disorders, everything from ADHD to PTSD to bipolar disorder and depression. What they do is actually target the science underneath all of these disorders. So they provide research grants that do neurological research at the laboratory side, and also in the clinic on the clinical side with patients. So they really service the full spectrum with the goal of long-term solutions, treatments, and cures for these disorders. If you want, you can check those out on our channel. We have donate buttons up on the GT Live channel. So if you go and watch Katie over on our live stream, there's a donate button there. But in the meantime,
You can also see what tickles Katie's funny bone,
Exactly.
which I was surprised by.
I already told them I'm a sucker for fart jokes.
Yeah, I did not realize that you would be.
coming. But yeah,
the fart joke, you were like crying at the end. I'm like, all right, great, yeah.
It was so unexpected. I mean, toothpaste. That was the open.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like.
When Chris puts together the Try Not to Laugh challenges, he does a good job of hitting a lot of different types of humor. Like
Yeah. So
he
you're gonna
knows that we're suckers of like the animal humor.
So that was a dog and the cats.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, cats and dog. Yeah, but fart jokes all a classic, and then he'll put in some like random ones in there because that's what he likes.
Yeah.
Because he likes the like just off the wall random stuff.
So funny.
Yeah.
But thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
And we
thanks for
really
coming.
Of
appreciate
course.
it. Donate. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Well, here, why don't we just
I-
like,
just-
yeah,
Yeah.
let's do a big high
We can make a group hug.
Aw, yay!
Group
That's so
hug.
nice.
And hopefully we will hang out like normal.
Yeah, we'll hang out like
Sometimes.
normal people. That would be awesome.
Yeah, let's not meet up in like
Well,
the
only
baggage
be
claim or
working.
whatever, right?
We know they like omelets, so maybe we could go get omelets or
True.
something.
They could
There we
totally
go.
go. Yeah, get a breakfast, a brunch.
Oh.
Breakfast.
You can get lunch if it's brunch.
There you
Lunch,
go.
just lunch.
That's why
Brunch.
you can
Brunch.
go either
Everybody
way.
can be happy.
All right,
That's
let's let the donating continue.
Yes. Okay.
All sorts of fun stuff.
Sorry we hijacked.
No, I loved it. I loved it. Thanks for coming over.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you. And
it's
give
like,
them
let's
a
talk
big-
about our problem.
No, I loved it.
I have
Did
so
you guys
many
love it?
issues.
I loved it. Hopefully you're not sick of me yet. Okay.
I'm all.
Emily Schultz. We got one more cowbell before I go. Thank you, Emily. Woo, 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 woo. Okay. Let's see. Caitlin, yes, you can ask me questions if you don't have Twitter. You can ask it when a video goes live. So like I put out videos on Mondays and Thursdays, and you can get below them and ask questions. And I do as much as I can to get through them. Don't be upset if I don't get to yours right away. I will always try to get through as many as I can, and then some other Kenyans in our community could answer your question if they know or recommend video. But you can always just keep asking it again at each video that comes out. Okay, let's see. Okay, and you can try to talk to me on Twitter. Bye. Sean, we got another package because all the ordering. Did you guys? Oh, sorry, I'm totally changing the topic. But the other day, Sean and I were literally gone from our house for 2 days, and I told one of our neighbors, I was like, "Hey, just keep an eye out. I think we might have a package or two." You guys, we had 50 packages. No, I'm still good, thank you. We had 50 packages. It was crazy, and I was like, "I'm so sorry for making you get those." So, anyways, funny story, and there's already another one. Okay, let's answer some more questions. Oh, hi, Karen. Hey. Oh, Oliver. Oh, that's funny. You have the same name as their son. I'll tell them bye. And then let's do we want to do some giveaways? Let's see, the last half hour we want to do 2, 3 giveaways. What do you guys want to do? Talk to me. I know, Catherine, it's because it was all the sales. I love a good deal, and I did make sure it was ethically created, hence why we're all here. You guys, we've raised a lot of money already today. I'm very excited, and from the other videos. So I think that we're gonna hit our goal. Let's hope we hit our goal. Okay, let's answer some questions. Okay. I know we did laugh like schoolgirls over fart jokes. And the funny thing was, it was actually Steph and I that laughed the most. We thought that was so funny. And somebody was talking about self-injury. I have a bunch of videos. I have a whole self-harm workbook if you're really struggling with those urges. And I have a video about 25 coping skills, so you can get into that. If hopefully that's kind of helpful and offer some helpful tips. And yeah, it could be a traumatic event. Oh, and something I think is kind of important is to understand that in order to be traumatized, all that really has to happen is for us to fear for our life or the life of someone else. And I know that can be really hard to even understand, but if we're just scared and we think something really harmful could happen to us, we could be traumatized. Sean's rolling around all my giveaways. My giveaway bin. Okay. St. Everest. St. Everest deserves a cowbell. Are we ready? I know some people hate it, but this is what we do. Yay. Thanks, St. Everest. Now we're all caught up. Thanks for the donation. Yay. Okay. So, Nighthawk says, do you have any tips on talking to people / venting? I always have a lot of trouble getting my thoughts out, even with people I trust. I think something that can help for many of us who feel like we either don't share anything or we have verbal diarrhea where we just share everything is to journal in some form. So we can, it doesn't have to be a constructive journaling, oh, today I did this and then felt like this. It doesn't have to work in any kind of format. We can also just do bullets, today was really hard because I felt this way. Or, today I was sad. Then I saw my friend, made me better. And I know that sounds really silly, but sometimes by journaling things out and kind of breaking it down, it can be, it can make it a little bit easier for us to then share with someone because we have more of an idea of how we're really feeling and what's really going on. Does that make sense? And you guys have any like thoughts also? Okay, honey. Sean's digging through the giveaway bin. So just see, like, let me know if there's other ways that you've found like that are helpful for you to share with other people. Because I think that like everybody's going to be different, and it's very, very normal to not feel like you, that you know how to share, and we can get nervous and we can worry they're going to judge us and we can go blank. A lot of my patients will say I just go completely blank. So that's totally normal too. And yes, you can have PTSD from past suicide attempts. I think because we can be in such a dark place, and for many of my patients, I don't know about you, but when they've attempted suicide, they're like dissociated a lot of the time. And so it's almost like they didn't even do it themselves. It can feel like out of body, where you're like, what happened and who did that? And it doesn't feel like it's us. And so anyways, I don't know if you feel that way, but I think that that could potentially be, you know, what causes that PTSD-like symptom. I'm wondering, I was supposed to have Mama B in here to share and to join me, but I don't know if I can do that. I wonder, I was going to try to email her. If you guys will bear with me for 1 second, I can see if she can join through this. You guys want to try? You want to see Rosanna? And see if it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I want to really try because she was really bummed out and I was really bummed out. And that's what made the technical difficulties. I was trying to get her on and trying to, you know, to get her to join. Sorry, guys. Paste. We'll see if she can join through that. If not, what are we going to do? We're doing the best we can, right? Okay. But you guys know Mama B, right? I did a collab with her a while ago, and she was wonderful, and we'll see if she can join using that link. Oh, yeah, Ashley Basta Volleyball gets to come to Anaheim to VidCon. Yay, yay, yay. Oh, thanks, TK. You're the best. Yes, I have a whole playlist on trauma and abuse, and I have this whole series I did with my friend Alexa, who's a trauma specialist. Okay. Oh, hey, Dora. She's new here. Woo, woo. Welcome. I'm wondering if I'm a female hoping to go into academia, and it's quite daunting, especially transitioning into a predominantly male field. Any grad school tips? Dora, the best advice I can give for grad school, I think, is it can be hard. Luckily, in the therapy world, it was primarily other women. Oh, hey, Blue Jay. Thank you, Jamie. Woo, woo, woo. Ready? Pull your earbuds out. Woo, 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 woo. Thank you for your donation. Yay, yay, yay. Okay. So I think that when it comes to getting into graduate school, the best thing that I ever did was find one friend, and that friend doesn't have to be in the program with you. It could be a teacher, professor that you enjoy and you connect with. A lot of times, like I had one girl that I was really good friends with. She was in the program with me, and she was the main person that I talked to, and that we helped keep each other on track and make sure we weren't misunderstanding what was going on. Or, oh, St. Everest, thank you. Woo, 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 woo. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, I'll answer your question in just a second. So I think when it comes to graduate school, find one person that you can connect with, and then go for it. Things are changing. Things shouldn't be female or male dominated. People should be able to be in any kind of realm with any kind of, just anything that they want to do. People should be able to do it. And I wouldn't let that deter you at all, but I would definitely connect with one person. Make sure you have your supports, and just take it one day at a time, which I know is such an annoying adage, but it's really how grad school works. It's just taking it one step at a time. Okay, so now I'm going to have to do this, and I'm really excited about that. And I think that just doing that can be really, 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 really helpful, because otherwise everything's daunting at first. Everything feels like a huge mountain you have to climb. But if we just look at the next couple of steps, we're good. You know, then it's more achievable. Like I was actually just talking with some other creators, friends of mine, about a big project I want to work on, and how I've been wanting to do it for years. And every time I go to do it, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand. I don't do that type of video. No one's going to like it. And I like shut myself down before I even start. And that's why it's been going on for years. And they were like, you're going to be fine. Just start with one thing. Okay. So let's get the shot list together, what you want to capture. Okay, done. Give yourself a week to do that. Then the next week I need to do some voiceover for it. And I know that that sounds like really silly or simple, but that's really life. Everything's overwhelming at first. It'd be like saying, I want to have a YouTube channel and I want it to be successful. I've been on YouTube. We both are saying we've been on YouTube for over 7 years. And so it's just one little thing at a time. But creating a YouTube channel, like creating a name, joining YouTube, then filming something on your phone for your first video, those are all things that aren't too overwhelming. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. Okay, St. Evers had a question. So I'm thinking about getting a sex bot. Any advice? I'm a 30-year-old virgin and asexual. I think that it depends. I mean, if you're asexual, depends on if you're aromantic or if you're not. It sounds like there's a lot to this, I guess. I believe that however people want to have sex is totally fine as long as it's all consensual and no one gets hurt. So if that's something that is interesting to you and that's how you would feel safe engaging in sex, and that you're, because I find a lot of people when we get older and we're still virgins, where there's a lot of worry about it and people feel uncomfortable and are afraid people are going to judge them, or they're, everybody already has. And so if I go dating someone, they probably already had sex with other people. And so all of that I know can be really scary. And so I think if we're wanting some kind of companionship, then I would encourage you to meet people. I'd encourage you to get out of your comfort zone, join a hiking group or biking group, or people who love coffee. There's all sorts of meetup.com I've talked about before. Even getting into chats on Facebook, joining groups of things that you actually are interested in, and because it's best to have relationships with people that share interests. And so that would be kind of my advice, is that if you're actually wanting companionship, look for a person. If you're just looking to explore your sexuality, then a sex bot is fine. I don't know much about sex bots personally, but there's no judgment. However you want to engage in sex is fine with me, as long as, like I said, it's consensual and safe. And I have a whole bunch of videos I did a whole sex series. I have an LGBT plus workbook. There's a lot of things you can check out if you have more questions about that, okay? Let's see. Yeah, of course, Dora. I hope it's helpful. Yeah, and I agree, Billy. She's like the more creatively vulnerable you are, the more you can doubt yourself. Totally, because it's like when we do something that's not our usual, it's not quite comfortable, and we are putting ourselves out there, and we all know vulnerability can take away our courage. And I think it's really important that we embrace the vulnerability and almost lean into it, which I know is really hard. But yeah, it can really, really help us take chances, because without change, there's no growth, and change is uncomfortable. Taking chances is uncomfortable, but I think all good things come out of discomfort. I know Carly, I did hear that too. The LGBT plus workbook does have a cool forward by a really cool person. So you might want to check that out. Okay. Evan Hoyle says, normal feeling after a traumatic event. I had to do CPR on a lady in the street last week unexpectedly. Felt traumatized, had flashbacks, felt in shock ever since. Is this normal for a week after? Yes. There is no something I think that's important for people to recognize is there's no set amount of time. Usually it takes a while even for the PTSD symptoms or trauma symptoms to find their way into our life. It can be months until people can, may experience their first flashback, or may have hypervigilance, or some of the symptoms that come along with PTSD. I have a whole video about PTSD going through. There's a lot of different symptoms and layers within each symptom. So you can check that out. But I think that it is very normal to have flashbacks, especially if it was really unexpected. It was really traumatizing. And so allow yourself to feel that. That's okay. And the more we talk about what happened and how you felt, and just talking yourself through that whole day, which I know sounds really tedious, but the more we talk about it and the more detail we talk about it, the sooner these PTSD-like symptoms will go away. Okay? And I hope that kind of helps, because it is really, it's really normal, and it can get better. So no, you're not alone. Okay. Oliver says, what do you think about two men raising a child? Will not having a mother figure be unhealthy? No, I actually don't have any problem with any group of people even raising a child. Because I know in a lot of cultures, the grandma or the aunts and uncles, people are all part of raising the children of that family. And I don't think we have to have a male and female parent to grow up properly. I think that the most important thing for a child is to feel safe. And with that means like that it's okay to feel how they feel. And the roles that a traditional male and female, mother, father would cover is usually like the mom is the more touchy-feely. It's okay, I'm so sorry for, like we're more, and this is all like traditional and, what people talk about and what people think is like, because mothers tend to be more soothing, we're more, maternal, we tend to be the caretaker. Where fathers tend to be, in like old research, we find that fathers tend to play with children a little bit more, not aggressively, but like with more reckless abandon. They're not so worried about like, oh, the child bumping its head or tripping, or and they play a little more rough with the kid, and that's good for them too. And so just considering the two things, like those are two types, and it's very traditional. I think that there are ways that we can meet children's needs, and it doesn't have to be mother, father, and it doesn't have to be two parents. I think a lot of people feel like there's just no hope if we do it this way. There's always hope. It's all about you being the best parent you can be and meeting the needs of your child and letting them know it's okay to be who they are, feel how they feel, and we're there for them. And so I would just say that, because don't think that, I mean, if anybody says I feel like they're very short-sighted, they're not really considering, it's not just male, female, it's actually just roles that we play in our child's life. And they're going to have needs that need to be met. Thanks, Nerdy Cupcake. So I really love what you do and just wanted to say thank you. I first saw you in Shane's videos and have decided to go see a therapist for the first time. Yay, 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 yay. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, are we ready? I know some of you hate this. We'll make it quick. Woo, 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 woo. That's so exciting, Nerdy Cupcake. I'm so glad. And thank you, Sean. Our former victims. Do you want to, let's do Sean a little cowbell. Ready? Thank you, Sean. Woo, woo, woo. Our former victims, also current therapists. It could be, anybody could be a therapist. Like I talked about before, don't let anything that's happened to us in the past limit our career choices, as long as we take care of ourselves. Does that answer your question, Sean, or am I missing something? So just, yeah, I think anybody can be a therapist, but not always. Like, for instance, okay, I just have to say this because I always think of this when people ask questions like this. It's perfectly fine to have a mental illness or struggle with mental health and still be a mental health professional. Like I said before, we just have to make sure we're taking care of our own mental health. However, it is important that we don't get into psychology or therapy to fix ourselves. I know that sounds crazy maybe, or you're like, what does that have to do with anything? The best mental health professionals get into the field to help others. It's not about me learning about myself through my work. That's actually completely horribly wrong. It's about me learning. I've taken care of my shit. I'm doing my own thing, but then I'm going to use what I've learned and what I know to help others. It's about them. It's not about me, because a therapist should never use the time in therapy to talk about themselves and their situation unless it helps them. It helps you like know that they understand. It can be helpful for empathy, a little at a time. But they shouldn't be talking about themselves. They shouldn't be sharing only what's worked for them. And they shouldn't, you shouldn't feel like you have to prove that you're ill enough. There's no judgment. They're there for you, listening to you. And so I just have to say that because I think that sometimes people assume that we can't be therapists or that every therapist is already crazy. And that's just not the case. Neither is this the case. Mm-mm. Oh, you guys, thank you guys. You guys are so cute. What about both? Be a victim and a therapist? You totally can be. Nothing can hold you back as long as you take care of yourself first. Okay. Grad school equals imposter syndrome. I totally agree, TK. If you guys don't know what imposter syndrome is, I had a video that came out recently. And it's essentially what do I know? Who am I? How can they expect me to, do all of this? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. I recently lost my grandfather, and it's the first major death I've experienced. Is it natural to feel numb, cry randomly, have flashbacks at odd times to his moment of death? Yes. Grief is really interesting and terrible, and I'm so sorry for your loss. I lost my father 10 years ago, actually almost 11, and it was really hard, and grief is interesting, and know that however you feel about it is completely okay. Some people don't feel sad in the moment and then cry and have a really hard time afterwards. I thought I was fine. I was in therapy a lot, twice a week at that time for probably a year, before when he was really getting sick and then after. And I would feel I'd go through really good periods, and all of a sudden one day I just want to cry because in my head, I'd be like, oh, I should just call dad. And then I'd be like, I can't. Whoa. and know that that's all okay. But the one thing that really is important to do is to keep talking about it. Keep sharing how you feel. Keep giving yourself a chance to process it through, because that's, that's what's really, that's what will really help you heal. Okay. Okay. Do we want to do a giveaway? Do you guys want to do a giveaway?
Yes.
Sean says yes. Ariana
Yes.
says, I think it's great. Joined Kailash and brought awareness to the topic. I would have never thought about the exploitation and abuse behind the products we can consume sometimes. Me neither. That's the thing too. I would never have even thought, because I think that like a lot of times it's just ignorance, and it's not, when you fall to bars, it's like, I just thought it didn't exist anymore in the way that it did. And so, yeah, I'm happy that I can do this, because I didn't know either. And so I feel like it's nice when we can learn together, right? That's really the whole goal of my channel, is we get to learn together. Sean says yes ×2. Okay, so it's another Sean.
Oh.
Okay, so who do we want to, okay, let me answer this question really quick, and then we'll do some giveaways. Because we'll have like 40 minutes left, because I didn't start until like 15 minutes after, so we make sure we get our full time in here. But it says, any thoughts on meditation? I started doing it recently, and I'm finding it helps me be aware of myself and my thoughts. Yes, love meditation. Think it's really great. It can be really hard, but even just a few minutes a day can make all the difference. I'm a huge advocate. I've done guided meditation, and I should go more. And I actually go to a place, but you can do it on your own. You can do it through the Headspace app. You can just do it on your own, where you just focus on the breath coming through your nostrils, which I know can sound weird, but it like takes away from all the chaos that could be going on in your head, and allows you to like be present and be more mindful. And also we get really good at then noticing how our body responds, like how we feel in certain situations when we maybe used to just push forward and not pay attention. Does that make sense? Love meditation. Oh, Banana Bread Bobo does too. Yeah, yoga too. I do yoga as well. If you guys know, I've been trying to at least go once a week. That's kind of my goal lately, because it helps me feel better. And it's also healed some weird stuff because of my stress level, like my neck being tight and that numbness that was coming down this thumb, and just all sorts of stuff. It's really helped me feel better. So I really recommend it. And if any of you are like, I would never, don't knock it till you try it, man. That's kind of how I feel about all sorts of things. Sorry, I'm a chapstickaholic. My name is Katie, and I'm a chapstickaholic. So yeah. So anyways, I hope that kind of helps you guys. I really recommend meditation. Okay. And yoga for that matter. Okay, giveaways. So we have a bunch of cool things. We have a ton of t-shirts. We also got some new fidget toys. The mini Molecube. Do you guys remember this? Almost like a Rubik's Cube of sorts. Oh, I know it's a weird question, but how do you start to meditate? Do we not want to do giveaways? We don't have to. You guys have a lot of good questions. Okay, I know Burt's Bees, baby. My old one is Burt's Bees, or the one that's in the office, but this is my cocoa butter stick. It's the glue stick, but really chapstick. So starting to meditate is honestly just sit up. Do not lay down. I know some people think you can lay down. I fall asleep. So you want to sit up and be comfortable. You want to be in comfortable clothes or a comfortable seated position, and you want to slow your breath, and you want to kind of I usually do like a check-in. In DBT, in the mindfulness pillar of it, we kind of go through this I think it's called the white light or something. It kind of goes from your head. You imagine it going all the way through your body. You kind of check in with different parts. Like, is my face really tense and scrunched up? Are my lips pursed? Is my tongue, this sounds weird, but in yoga, they're always like, release your tongue from the top of your mouth. And even if you're relaxed, like you think you're relaxed, your tongue can be like pressed up. I don't know why we do that. But just relaxing your jaw, going down to your neck, rolling your shoulders back, and kind of doing that through your whole body. And that's kind of usually how I start meditation, is kind of checking in. And then I try to go to like some kind of happy place, like I'm in a field or I'm floating in a warm ocean where my ears are below the water and I can't hear anything. And once I'm kind of gone to that place, then I just focus on my breath. And meditation doesn't mean, I don't know if anybody knows this, meditation doesn't mean that you don't have any thoughts or that you can just like stop thinking a lot. It's really about the ability for you to know that your thoughts can come and you can let them go. We don't have to have thoughts about our thoughts. Like if you think about it, when we have a thought, we have thoughts and judgments about that thought immediately. And we can have that thought that like spirals like a ruminating thought. We can't get over it. We can't move past it. Meditation allows us to acknowledge the thought. Okay, so, oftentimes when I go to meditation, I'll be completely honest with you guys, I'll have this thought where I'm like, oh, I have so much to do when I get out of here. I need to make sure that video is edited. I need to reply to that email. But instead of worrying, be like, oh, I'm never going to get done. I shouldn't have done this. Why did I come here? Blah, 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 right? I have judgments and thoughts about the thought. Instead of doing that, I can say to myself, you know, yes, that's true. I do have that stuff to do, but not right now. And I allow it to move on. I don't allow myself to go back to that thought. And then I bring my focus back to the breathing. I know that, and it is hard. It's like a new muscle you're working. So it's okay if you don't do, it's like really hard for you and it doesn't go well at the beginning, but stick with it. Okay. And Nicholas says, for me, it often helps to think that my feet is setting roots. Oh yeah, your feet are setting roots. And then I have all these nerves that go throughout my whole body, grounding me to the earth. Yeah, just like being present, grounding yourself. That's really, really helpful. Thanks for sharing. So, okay, let's see. Oh yeah, Evan, if I do giveaways, I ship worldwide, Mr. Worldwide, because that's not fair, you know? Yeah, good therapists do have their shit together. I 100% agree with that, TK. Let's see. Yeah, and Headspace is an app I use to guide me through it, and it does work wonders for me. I prefer guided meditation because it just gets me out of my head and helps me a little bit, you know? Okay. Oh, did it? That's funny. When I said bright light, I wonder if it's because it's my hands. It's the camera adjusting. I said bright light, and then when I did this, it got bright. It did it again. It got brighter. I think it's my hands. I know. You're a wizard, Harry. I always knew I was a wizard. Okay. Shipping worldwide. Exactly. Okay. So, did I make you laugh, Debbie? I'm glad you like that. Okay. I don't know, Kayla. I don't know much about hypergraphia. I'd have to look it up. I actually don't even know what that means. It's not something that I've heard about. Oh, Emily says, I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety, sickness, so I feel like vomiting 24/7. Any thoughts on that? Check out my videos on anxiety. And just like finding ways to soothe your system. Meditation could really help. We have to get your anxiety level down, and that vomiting feeling will go away. Very interesting thing that I've been reading about a lot. I don't know why I went down a rabbit hole. I was looking for some other information, ended up, you ever do that? I'm like, wow, I've been reading a lot of articles about something don't even need to know. And it was about like your reptilian brain and the connection of our brain to our gut, and why we say trust your gut, because we do have like a gut response. That's why we get butterflies in our stomach when we have a crush on someone. It feels that flutter is actually mixed with lust, like a sexual attraction to someone, and nervousness because it's new and we want them to like us and we don't know if they do. And it's all of that causes those butterflies. Anyway, it's very common for anxiety, depression to have an effect on our digestion and our gut. And the sooner we can figure out a way to bring that anxiety down, whether it's through, check out my coping skills video too. Finding other ways to soothe, whether it's going for a walk, petting an animal, going to a therapist, journaling, breathing techniques. I don't find they usually work for people, but they work for some. All of that can really, really help. Oh, I do have a video about ECT if you're wanting to learn more about that, RLJ38823. Oh, what's the best type of therapy for sensory motor OCD? That's tricky because OCD as a whole, CBT is supposed to work best, at least in my research. Or even like someone who specializes in anxiety disorders, which could be any kind of variation of therapist. That's really tricky, Blue Jay. I think finding a good connection with them, someone who has some CBT training. CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy. I have a video on it if you want to know more. Any of the things I'm talking about, if you have questions and you're like, I don't know what that means, Katie, stop talking crazy. You can look it up on my channel. And then I think, since it's sensory motor, I think CBT would be best, but finding just someone who specializes in anxiety disorders. Like we have an anxiety clinic here at UCLA, and often when I have patients who have really severe anxiety, I send them over there for assessment, and they have a ton of great referrals. Like if I don't feel like I'm equipped to answer or to help someone and work with them, I'll call them and they'll give me some referral options. So that's kind of, I know that's not like a great answer, but hopefully that helps put you in the right direction. Okay, sorry, I've got an itchy nose. Hold on, you guys. Ugh. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, you got this, Ashley Basta Volleyball. Good luck on your paper. I do concur. Okay. Someone says, write a 1,000-word essay on anxiety. But I'm only laughing because I'm like, oh, the irony of like the stress and anxiety of something like that. Caroline says, there are so many interesting fields of psychology. How do you choose one to go into? What made you choose yours? I think it's kind of interesting that like, it wasn't at all what I thought I wanted to do. When I went to school, I thought maybe I wanted to be a psychiatrist or at least a developmental psychologist. Sorry, I must have had like a hair or something tickle me because I really enjoy the developmental portion. Like we were talking with Steph and Matt about like their child's development and the vision and how they develop and like how we develop the connection with our mom and attachment is very interesting. Like object permanence, somebody said in the comments, I'm like, yes, like I find the brain and the development of the brain so fascinating. And neuroplasticity, the fact that we can always change, brilliant, love it. So that's what I thought I wanted to do. And so I went to school and I was like, I don't know if I need to get my PhD or just my master's. I did a bunch of research. I think this, and if you guys are sick of this, just let me know. But you don't make much more money if you have a PhD versus a master's, if you're a psychologist versus a therapist. The difference is very minimal. I think it was like $5,000 to $7,000 a year. And if you're not from America, I paid for all my own school and still am paying for all my own school, and it's really expensive. And so at that point I was like, you know what, I think it's best if I just stop at my master's. I don't continue another 2 years to get my PhD or my PsyD. And so I stopped. But when I stopped, I still was interested in developmental psych. And so one of the first clinics I worked at was like this low cost clinic in North Hollywood. And I had a bunch of kids that I saw. And that was kind of like my patients, if you will. And I did not like it. I loved my kids, but dealing with the parents and the schools and all the calls, it was so stressful. And the amount of progress that they were able to make was just not at all what I thought it was going to be, because working with kids is much slower and they don't tell you if something's working or not because they don't always have the words or know how to say anything. And at that point, I was looking for a paid job because this job I wasn't paid at all. And so I was doing that part-time and I started working at the eating disorder clinic part-time. And that's when I fell in love with that. So that's kind of how it happened. That's why I always tell everybody when you go into graduate school or any kind of career path, be open to the idea that what you thought you might want to do might not be what you want to do. Just be open to the possibility for change, because otherwise we can find ourselves in a really unsatisfying job or career path and it can be really disappointing. And so, yeah, just kind of be open to the fact that it's okay to not know and it's okay to change your mind. Because I would have thought I'd want to be in schools and helping little kids. I wanted to work with like little kids, like first graders, second graders. Turns out it's not my thing. And that's totally okay. Okay, let's see. And Me Too page says, I wish it was easier to find a therapist. Me too. Let's see. There's a lot of chatter, you guys. I don't know who Jordan Peterson is, Oliver. Can you tell me who that is? I'm old and out of touch sometimes. Should I know who that is? Yeah, I agree, Banana Bread, Bobo, I'm not sure, Bobo. This has to be through YouTube because they're matching our donation for the Kailash Foundation. So that's kind of why we did that. You guys, we've raised a lot of money in this stream. For me, I never do this kind of stuff. So go team, go. And I will put donate buttons on all of my videos until the end of the year. So if you can give a buck here or there, it will really make all the difference. Okay, so let's see. Ashley Abosta says, finally started therapy back in September. Therapist now feels she's doing a disservice to me and is having me choose, that jumped, if I want to work with her along with the eating disorder treatment facility or switch to an eating disorder specialist. It's up to you. I personally think the fewer, and this sounds weird coming from me, I guess, but the fewer therapists we have, the better, because it can be really hard for us to have to retell our story of the week or month over and over and over and over again. And I think that just wastes our time and our money. And so I always think if you're okay, I would stay with your therapist until you feel situated with an eating disorder specialist. But kudos to your therapist for not pretending that they know how to treat eating disorders and really not understanding, because that's one of my number one pet peeves. So I would definitely see if you can find someone that you connect with that's a specialist. Keep seeing your other therapist until you transition. And then I honestly would probably go with the eating disorder specialist. because if that's your main issue, I find being with someone like that's what's so important. It really matters. It really makes all the difference. I hope that helps. Okay. Okay. Oh, someone said giveaway. Okay, let's do a giveaway. Okay. So who do we think deserves a giveaway? How do we even? I have a lot of things, you guys. I'm gonna roll in. Because we have a bunch of fidget toys. I still have some of my bracelets that you can buy on DSTBA right now, and I don't know how long they're running. I think it's until December 6th. If you pay $50 or more, free shipping, and all of my items, I'm giving you 15% off. But bracelets, they say process not perfection, and on the back, can you see it? It says Kenyan. I have those. I have like 3 of those left. Oh no, 4. One more. I have some jewelry, some bracelets from people. Who do we think needs a giveaway? Nicholas says, whoop, whoop, giveaway. I totally agree. Oh, lots of love from Poland. Yay. Okay. So you like the bracelets? Oh, good. Yeah, there's fidget toys. There's this Mala Cube. We also have, I have a bunch of fidget toys. We also have like stress balls, these little emoji stress balls. I have a bunch of these and I keep forgetting because they're in the bottom of the bin. There's those. I do have one more of a thumb chuck. I think it might light up. It does. Carly likes hers. I know that much. I also, oh my God, we have one bird left, you guys. The New Zealand bird. What was it? I forget what it was called. Does anybody remember what this was called? I forget. And it makes a noise. Do you guys remember that? I also have, we have bunches of stuff. More bracelets. I got some, if you like doing your nails, I've got some like nail press-on things. We've got a little mini kitty holder. It can hold memes, note, pictures, business cards, perfect desktop companion. It's a little kitty cat. Do you see it? Will that make it better or worse? That's bad, but it's wood. Do you see it? It's wood. Okay, let's see. It's a kiwi. I love that comedic comrade. Okay, let's see. Oh, go on Logan Paul. I don't know Logan Paul. I mean, I'd be scared, but to go to his honest pod, I don't know much about him. I mean, I've just been upset since the Suicide Forest. I'll get over it, but sure. It's a kiwi bird. Thank you guys. I'm scrolling back. Sorry, that got crazy. Okay. Ella Best, yes. Ella Best Thumbchucks is you. That's our first giveaway. So Ella, the best way. How are we gonna do this? I guess, I guess tweet to me when the live stream's over, tweet to me and just say, hey, I won the Thumbchuck giveaway. And then I will DM you so I can get your address. Cool? Okay, let's do one more. Who else should get a giveaway, you guys? Let's see. Am I a cat or dog person? Debbie, I am an animal person. I do prefer dogs only because they tend to be more like active with you. Like you can take a dog on a walk and they love you no matter what. Like when you get home, they're super excited to see you. And cats can be too. Like, trust me, I grew up with a Siamese cat that when you come home, it'd be like, meow, meow, like come out from the back and mew at you and blah, blah, blah. So I love cats too, but Sean's allergic to them, so we'd have to find a hypoallergenic breed. So my goal right now is for dogs, but I love all animals. I grew up with dogs, cats, guinea pigs, birds for a while. Yeah, I love animals. My mom had ducks even when she was growing up, and so for a while we looked at getting ducks. Lots of animals. Okay, I know everyone does deserve a giveaway. Oh yeah, and the ad revenue is donated to the fundraisers, just so you guys know. All the super chat, all the donations, all of it goes straight to them. And the thing that's really cool about like partnering with YouTube is they made it so seamless for me. I don't even have to do it. Just goes. It just goes. Okay. Oh, TK, you're so sweet. I would want you to keep the monies. It'd be your winnings. But that's very sweet. That would be like A dream come true. Okay. I know, ducks. Okay, so a lot of people like the bracelets. So who do we think should get the bracelet? Oh, yay! Yay, Rutger Mass. I hope you like the book. I'm very excited, and I can't believe Stephanie's already kind of read it. That was really sweet of her. But I really like the spine of the book. But yeah, I hope it helps people. I hope people like it. It was definitely a labor of love. And I can't believe it's here. It's been forever. Okay, here we go. Okay, bye, comedic comrade. I will see you later. Okay, let's see. Kayla Garage, not sure. Bracelet it is. This is our next giveaway. Bracelet for you. And I still have the teeny little pouches that I sent those out in to mail in. So make sure that you tweet at me, and then I'll DM you so you can send me your address. You're our winner, Kayla. Ooh, is it Kayla or Kala? I'm assuming it's Kayla, but there's no Y. Never know. Oh, you did banana bread Bobo? I hope you get it. I hope you get it. Yep, we got her. We got it. Okay. Let's see. Let's answer a few more questions, and then we'll skedaddle. Okay, cool. Did she see that she's, yep, winner, chicken dinner. Exactly. Okay. I know, I don't know why they're going to arrive in February. If the more people that buy them from certain areas, they will ship out more. But the first round, so just so you all know, the first shipment of all of my books has gone out. So like to your Barnes & Nobles or your local bookstores or your libraries, please ask all your libraries to order. It allows anybody who can't afford the book to have access to it. And if you are one of those people who you're like, oh, I really want it and I don't know if I can afford it, go to your library and say, hey, there's this book coming out, and then they'll buy a copy for you. It's really cool. I didn't realize that about libraries. So there you go. The more you know. Yeah, we'll be shipping soon. Those of you in the States, I think it's in the US and Canada. I think it's just US and Canada. Maybe others, you guys let me know. You will receive it on December 11th when it comes out. Oh no, Butterfly, Matt and Steph aren't coming later. They just came for an hour from 11 to 12, or from 10 to 11. And then we end at 12, but since I didn't come on till like 9:15 or so, we're going to go until 12:15. So you get the full 3 hours, you guys. We want to make sure, that we go for the full time. Okay. Let's see. Is the book on Kindle? It should be. It should be available. There are the digital downloads. Wow, I don't know why that's really hard for me to say. But the digital version, there's the hardback version, and there's also the audiobook version. I hope you like it, Megan. I would love feedback. So far, the only people that have read it or reviewed it are like different, I don't even know what you call them, but they're people who essentially read and review books and decide whether, like one of them was the library, I think it was called the Library Journal. And that was like, they read it, and then because people, because they liked it, then other libraries ordered it. So a lot of it just kind of matters and everything. So yeah. Yeah, it'll arrive that day. So excited. Okay, what should I do if I know that I need therapy and I told my mom, but she said she doesn't have time to deal with this and doesn't give me the support I need? Is there a way, Kina, for you to do more, like more of the work on your end? Because even if our parent can't make it happen for us, but they're not opposed to us going, we can still make appointments as long as we're over, I think it's 12 or 13. I don't know why, I always forget it. I think it's 13, maybe it's 12. You can still go to therapy without your parent coming and giving consent. But if your mom will just sign like a paper, like they can probably email you a paper that you can print out or have your parent sign. If your mom doesn't care and she's okay with it, she just doesn't have the time to deal with it, which I know that's hurtful, but let's just take what we can get. We can, still make the appointment. We can have her sign the paperwork ahead of time, let them know, I'm under 18 and my mom isn't helping me, but I still want to see you. But she will sign informed consent is what it's called. Informed consent. I'll put that in the thing so you know what I'm talking about. Informed consent. And so they can, your mom can sign that and you can bring all the paperwork in and start therapy. And so I would say something to your mom like, hey, I really do want to get therapy. I know you don't have time. Do you mind if I just set it up and do it myself? That's what I would say. And hopefully she'll be like, okay. Because, a lot of times parents are just overwhelmed And let's just hope that they'll come around and that it'll work out anyways. Okay. Do you have any tips on dealing with grieving your previous life due to debilitating illness? Catherine, I talked about that a lot in a video, an old video with Hank Green about chronic illness. And actually, I think even in a newer one, when I talk about chronic illness and depression, I would look those videos up and watch those because I do have a lot to say about it. I think that a lot of it is just allowing yourself to grieve, but not ruminate. And I know that that's hard, but like something that we can do, and something I'm just going to be honest, I've only had one patient with a chronic illness that I saw for a long period of time. I definitely saw patients in the hospital setting that had chronic illness, but the way that our system works, I wasn't able to spend that much time with them. It was like 15 minutes. It was really crazy. Just throwing that out there. So in private practice, I've only had one. And so something that really helped her was to write letters to and from her pre and post chronic illness self. And in a way, it gave her, it opened a conversation that I don't think she felt she had a right to have, if that makes sense. And so I think in some ways, having that conversation with ourselves, even though it sounds crazy, can be really, really beneficial and helpful because we still need to process all that we feel. And it's okay to grieve, and it's okay to be angry. Like we need to grieve a lot. Like I talked about, grief isn't just when someone in our life passes away. Grief can be when we struggle to conceive a child. And so the thought of the belief and the dream of what we thought that process would look like isn't that process. We need to grieve that loss. We can grieve when we go through a divorce or a separation, go through a breakup. Any of that we have to grieve. And so this is just one of the things that you're going to have to grieve in your life. And I would allow you to go through the stages. There are a lot of stages of grief, not just 5, and we don't go A to B to C to D. It's not like that. But just keeping in mind that you can feel angry, you can bargain. You know what I mean? There's all those like stages you can go through in whatever order, back and forth. I definitely went to the anger one a lot. Like I would barter when it was happening, and then I went to anger, and then I bartered again, and then back to anger. So know that it's not like linear. You don't have to just go through them. Give yourself the time. And I think therapy, if you can, would be super helpful, but journaling and those letter writings hopefully gets you started. Okay. Captain Chumbawamba, also a great name, want to go to the free therapy that's on my college campus, but I'm scared and worried of what they will say to me. I think that a lot of people get scared of therapy, but trust me, it's not that scary. We're humans too. We're just there to support and listen. Watch my video about what to expect in your first therapy appointment. I think that's what it's just called, you guys, isn't it? And so I would encourage you to check that out, because really all that they're going to ask you is they're going to have you fill out some paperwork. It's just basic. It's usually like, what are you here for? Name, birthday, stuff like that. Then you go in and they'll be like, so what brought you in, and have you been in therapy before? It's kind of just like a time to just kind of talk, and you don't have to know what you want to say, but just know why you want to go. Like, what is it that you're upset about? What is it you're wanting to improve? Or what is it that's bothering you? Like, just consider that. And I promise you, it's not very scary. We're regular people just like you. We're not going to be super rude. There's no judgment. There's no expectation. It's pretty much just us trying to learn about you and get to know you a little bit. So yeah. Oh, what type of dog would I like to get? I wouldn't get this because we're in California. It's too hot. I love Bernese Mountain Dogs. 100% would get one. Also, the puppies are so adorable. When I see them on the street, I have trouble not stealing them and taking them home with me. And I also would love a Pomeranian. And I also like Great Danes. I like any dog. I actually would, truthfully, I'd go to the pound and pick out a dog that just looks like a nice dog. I would want one that's kind of mellow, but, has those like soft, sad eyes. Okay, let's see. I don't see that person, TK. I'm trying to find, it's just so much going on here. I'm scrolling. I still don't see their question. Do you guys see it? The Galaxy Gear or whatever? I don't see it. If they want to send it again, they totally can. Huskies are pretty. So true. Okay, let's see. There was something else I wanted to, somebody said, how long should you go to therapy? I think it depends on your issue. For many people, they go for 6 months. Like personally, I've been in therapy off and on since I was 15. I'm not lying to you. I'm not pretending I've been in therapy when I haven't. I would never do that. But I started therapy and I went for maybe like 6 or 8 months. And that was really helpful for me. It helped me learn some of the patterns that I was already in, even as a teen, that wasn't good, and like helped me communicate better with my mom and dad. And at the time then I was like starting to date and like, how do I navigate dating? All of that was really, really helpful. And so that I was like 6, 8 months. And then I didn't go back until I was in college. My dad started to get really sick. And so it was around, I guess my freshman year, I went a little bit, I had a really bad breakup at that point, and I was having a hard time with that. And so I went into therapy for that for probably another like 6 months. And then I went back in for like a year, 2 maybe, when my dad was dying. I think it was probably more like a year, year and a half. So don't think of therapy as like a beginning and an end. Like I'd like to think of therapy as like the same way I treat my physical health. I go and get a physical, and then I do all the things to try to take care of myself. I try to sleep well. I try to drink enough water. I try to eat well. I try to exercise enough without anything being too much or too little. Like I just try to live a balanced life as best as I can. And so, sorry, I'm talking a lot now. I'm yawning. So I think that that's kind of how I would think of therapy. But I do think therapy can become a problem when we end before we feel any better and we don't have any tools, unless we're going to a better therapist or something like that. Or if we rely on therapy to help us make decisions and live our life. If we don't feel like we're able to do things on our own at all, and if our therapist is gone, we like panic, that tells me you either need a higher level of care or there's some attachment issues within therapy, and that needs to be discussed and dealt with. And that's why therapy shouldn't be lifelong. We should always be taking breaks and maybe coming back over the years. And so I hope that kind of, oh, I'm sorry, Debbie. My yawn made her yawn. I can't help it. But that means you're empathic. You feel for people. You knew how tired I was. So anyway, I think that hopefully kind of helps. Okay. Heidi says, what kind of job in the mental health or illness field can I get with only a bachelor's in psychology? I can't decide whether to go on for master's, but I don't want to do more than another year of school. I think, oh, thanks, Keena. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Oh, it got 100 on Rotten Tomatoes? I didn't even know Rotten Tomatoes did book reviews. Yay! Yay, go team. Okay, so anyways, the job, if you have a bachelor's in psychology, you can get many different jobs. I was a counselor. So there's a difference between a counselor and a licensed, like an LPCC, licensed professional, I think it's clinical counselor. And if anybody knows that it's different, let me know. But you can become like a counselor. You can work in different treatment centers as a counselor. You get paid less than a therapist, licensed therapist or licensed social worker or an LPCC, but you can still have a really fulfilling and great job. Then I'm trying to think of what else. So I worked in a foster teen home and I helped like counsel them. People have worked in schools. You can work at different like nonprofit organizations and help counsel. You can travel around the world and help people who are in difficult situations. You can counsel them. A lot of it could have to do with you just doing trainings versus going through more schooling and getting licensed. You could go through certain trainings so that you could become a life coach if you wanted to, or you could become like a certified certain type of, counselor, like addiction counselor. There's a lot of those. Yeah, does that help? There's a lot that you can do. You can work within school systems and things like that. Yeah, hopefully that helps. Okay, let's see. Let's do like 2 more questions and then I gotta go, okay? Okay. It says, how successful can IOP programs for someone who has social anxiety? I don't see that question, TK. I keep missing it. I'm trying to find them, but don't. Oh, and Emma, no, I have not had an eating disorder, but I had some very close friends of mine who did. I think that might have been, I actually didn't want to work in the eating disorder realm at first because it was too close to home for me. But then I found that I just really loved it. It was really, really rewarding. And I enjoyed it. I think when I thought I couldn't work in it, it's because I didn't understand it. So yeah. So anyway, someone said something about, hold on. Sorry, you guys. I lost it. Oh, how successful can IOP programs for someone who has social anxiety? They can be really successful. I personally love IOP programs. It stands for Intensive Outpatient Program. And it's like a day program of some sort, like where you spend like 3 or 4 hours for 3 to 5 days a week there. And I think they can be really helpful so that you are still integrated into your life. Because the hard thing about residential or inpatient, or if you're hospitalized, is that you're pulled away from your real life and you're like encapsulated in treatment. And then coming out, transitioning out of that is really hard. Because then like, you're like, oh, my life is still there. Ah! And so anyway, I think that's IOP is a great step, especially with social anxiety, because there'll be groups and things you're gonna have to do, and it will be a great place to safely practice new tools and find out what works for you and what helps you calm down. Question. Thank you, Kiss Kill, because I could not find that question. Can people with DID actually change diabetes or addictions when switching alters? I don't know that much about that. I don't know. I know that some alters can smoke when others don't. Some need glasses when others don't. So there's a lot of conversation about essentially how our mental health, because we know our mental health affects our physical health, right? So people said that one alter can need glasses and the other doesn't. So I don't see it I don't see it being that difficult to understand and believe that one could have diabetes and the other could not. But I'd like to see more research on it. I don't know enough about it to really give you a full answer, but I know that in my research for my video on DID, which if you don't know, like that's not my specialty, I deal with patients who have dissociation, which is just something in my mind's on the spectrum, where DID, dissociative identity disorder, when we have, it's like, it used to be called multiple personality disorder, just for clarification. And so I think that some, when we have a bunch of different alters, some are even different genders, right? So we'll have a female alter and a male alter. We'll have some who like to drink a lot and others who don't. And I think that it is very interesting that we can have like some need glasses, some don't. But I think that that's definitely something that can happen, but I'd have to read more. And I'm sorry, I don't have all the answers. Okay, one more question. Did I answer that? Or somebody said he sent the question again, or Galaxy Gear sent the question again. Hey, Halazin. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to see if I missed it, but I think I got the, okay, Debbie, let's end with this. And Great Danes they're such cute puppies. Oh my God, Karen. If any of you have really cute dogs, please tag me on Instagram. I would love to see them. I love dogs. So somebody's asking, what am I doing for the rest of my day? I hope it's a nice day. Thanks for the live stream. Of course, Debbie. So for the rest of my day, I have to send out my text, because if any of you are in my journal, I have a journal prompt text club, which I know is a mouthful, but it's just a way to help keep you motivated. If you're struggling with journaling and how to start, it gets you started, and it's available in the US and Canada. And it's $5 a month, I think. And if you can, the links are in all of my descriptions of my videos if that's something you're interested in. And so I have to send the text. I have to come up with a journal prompt or a thought today. Usually Fridays are more of like a motivational quote or something, and then my take on it. And Tuesdays tend to be more journal prompt focused. So I have to do that. And then I need to edit Monday's video and get that ready. Yeah. And that's really it. And then I'll have to mail some giveaways. I do need to go to the dry cleaner. I just have some shit to do. Basic stuff that we all have to do. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Carlos. Katie's gonna need some introvert time after this. I do, you guys. I'm like more on the introverted side, not an extrovert. So after I do a lot of energy out, I have to just like maybe I'll go for a walk or go to yoga later. So anyways, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for helping us raise so much money. Look, we raised $121,338. And I think when we started this live stream, it was like 2,300 less than that, or maybe more. I don't know. How much did we raise? Did anybody pay attention? I was not paying attention. But I'm just thankful for all of you. I'm thankful for you being on, for sharing. If you don't have any money, remember just to share the documentary. Let people know that this is a problem. And I will have the donate button on all of my videos from here on till the end of the year. That's when they will stop the open donation through YouTube. So yeah, donate, share, do whatever you can, because I think more people need to know that child slavery shouldn't exist, and whatever we can do to not support it. Let people know to not shop, not buy Pawns, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods, Home Sense. Make sure that people know not to purchase items from there. And so, because the more we can do, right? And pay attention to where your items come from when you buy them. And for the 2 giveaway winners, make sure the thumb chuck and the bracelet are going out to you. Make sure you tweet to me in the next like 10 minutes, and I will DM you so you can send me your address safely. And it should be able to watch on YouTube. Yeah, Heidi. It'll probably take a little while to process since it's 3 hours long. But yeah. And so yeah, send me your address, tweet to me so I can get your addresses and send those out to you. I hope you guys love the book. It'll be here before we know it. I have to create another video, just FYI, talking about the book and reminding you, if you go to my website and you've already purchased the book and you want to get a signed book plate, because unlike, I don't know why they do this, but unlike sending me a bunch of these blue sheets where I sign them and then it goes in the front of the book, they sent me the blue book plates, which are like stickers. I should put one in here just to show you guys, but it's like a little square sticker about this big, and I've just signed it, Katie, with usually like an XO or heart. There's tons of variations because it's just me doing my thing. And I will mail those out to you. So in order to mail those out to you, you have to go to my website, click on the tab book, and scroll down through that. It tells you how to order the book, and then below that it says how to get your book plate. You fill out a Google form, super easy. You upload a photo of your proof of purchase, and we're good to go. And worldwide, I send it, Mr. Worldwide. Send it worldwide. I bought a bunch of international stamps, so they're coming at you. Okay. Yes, and it will be up. Okay. I love you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I will see you soon. And thanks for all of your support.